just a little bit north and east of downtown Phoenix. We're at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick, and today a television finale for the spring for the Mariners and the Rockies. But it's a great setting, too, as we get ready for Major League Baseball with the season opening right around the corner. It's the Mariners and the Rockies from Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Hi, everybody. Dave Sims along with Jeff Houston and Mike Blowers. And our stories today are some good ones. We have Juan Nicasio for the Rockies, a fabulous story. Here's a guy that broke his neck last year, and now here he is back playing Major League Baseball.
It is remarkable. We talked about Jamie Moyer yesterday, but today Juan Nicasio being able to go out, and some wondered whether he would be able to pitch this year or at all. And the innings he's logged this spring is by design from the Rockies. They wanted to see, is he totally back, and he has answered that because he's showing 95, 96 miles an hour. He's had the line drives back over his head, so all of those hurdles that he needed to jump through, he has done it, and he's on target now for the third start on Sunday against the Houston Astros.
That is a great story, and a really good story on the Mariners side of things. Mariner fans are hungry to see the kids play. Michael Saunders, you've got Kyle Seager, Alex Liddy. They've all impacted nicely with the ball club this spring.
Have to take advantage of opportunities, and for the Mariners with Carp on the DL and Franklin Gutierrez going on the DL, there's jobs that are open, and the young guys have really done a nice job of coming out and taking care of their business. You look at the average for these three men, they've all done that, and then Kyle Seager with the 4 home runs showing some extra power. But if you look at these guys overall, I think Liddy was the guy on the outside looking in, but because of some injuries, I think there's going to be an opportunity for him on this club.
This is going to be a lot of fun today as we get closer to opening day, Major League Baseball. We'll have Brad and Jenny. They're going to have more to set you up for today's game from Salt River Fields right after this timeout.
Today, an afternoon affair between the Colorado Rockies and the Seattle Mariners. Welcome back. I'm Jenny Kavner alongside with Brad Adam covering the Mariners. And, you know, opening day is approaching for every Major League Baseball team. However, Seattle already got started internationally.
Yeah, been there, done that. Everybody getting excited for Game 1. Mariners, of course, getting ramped up, excited, I guess, for Friday's Game 3 against the A's. Getting things started with 2 that they split in Tokyo against the A's. And speaking of Japan and Tokyo and our latest Japanese import, a guy that you haven't seen him, you're going to like him. It's Muno Kawasaki, an Ichiro look-alike. And, yeah, he's hitting like Ichiro this spring. He's done very well at second and shortstop. You'll see him at shortstop, really comfortable at the plate as well, hitting, wow, as we saw, 450 this spring. He had 3 hits yesterday. He's got 12 RBIs. He's not just a slap hitter. He does look a lot like Ichiro. Sean Fig is in the dugout yesterday. when Kawasaki was up, kept saying, "Come on, Ichiro, come on, Ichi." It's like, wait a second, that's Kawasaki.
Wrong guy. Get to know your teammates.
Exactly, but if he hits anywhere or plays anywhere like he has or like Ichiro has, everybody will be really thrilled, I think, with Kawasaki. So watch for him. Kind of a nice story out of spring so far. A guy that traveled, I think it's about 5,000 miles to get here, and you have a new player on the Rockies that didn't need to travel nearly as far, didn't need those airplane seats that lay all the way back.
Yeah,
right?
Michael Kadire, free agent pickup in the offseason, came just a few states over. You know, General Manager Dan O'Dowd this offseason really emphasized character of his clubhouse. He wanted to add some veteran guys to his young, talented team. Michael Kadire, one of those pickups from Minnesota. He was a franchise player there. It's because he was strong in the field. He has that strong character, and he provides the versatility that Colorado needs this year. He can even back up Todd Helton at first base. So we'll see what Michael Kadire can bring to the club. He did injure his hand during spring training. However, he said that swelling has subsided, and he's ready to get going. As are we here at Salt River Fields. We have the Mariners and the Rockies.
And the sun.
And the sunshine.
Fantastic.
All coming from the desert for you next.
Is brought to you by Taco Bell's new Doritos Locos Tacos. Lit Moss. Welcome back to Salt River Fields at Talking Stick, one of the real fabulous settings for baseball here in Arizona. Rockies fans on hand, Mariner fans on hand. It's the final telecast of the spring for both clubs. And the Mariners and the Rockies will play here again tomorrow. And it'll be the spring finale. And then the Mariners will be heading off to San Francisco, hotel there, take on Oakland Friday and Saturday. And the Rockies off to Houston, Texas.
Yeah, fly out after the ball game tomorrow. The truck is already getting loaded up, and at 3 o'clock today, supposed to be heading back to Denver. But the guys are getting anxious. They're ready to go.
Let's take a look at the Taco Bell starting lineups for the Seattle Mariners. Munenori Kawasaki will lead off. Dustin Ackley, good to have him back after suffering some illnesses and coming back from Japan. Kyle Seager, hot bat. Miguel Olivo, one of the leaders. Michael Saunders, he too had some downtime after coming back from Japan. Alex Leddy at first. Carlos Figueroa in right. Casper Wells still struggling. And John Jaso will do the DH work. Juan Nicasio.
Well, and what a fabulous spring he's had. We talked about it in our open, recovering and coming back, and answered all of those questions that he needed to. But 21 strikeouts just follows what he was able to do when he was called up last year in his 13 starts for the Rockies. A lot of strikeouts, very few walks. He's working on that fastball still to go along with the hard slider. And his third pitch is getting better, and that's the changeups. Worked hard early, especially in camp, to refine those two pitches to go with the 95, 96 mile-an-hour fastball.
Let's look at the Rockies defense. Sets up nicely with Carlos Gonzalez, Dexter Fowler, and Michael Kadire. Good to see him back in the lineup after the hand injury. Jenny told you about that. Jordan Pacheco. Jonathan Herrera at shortstop. Tulowitzki, he'll be back tomorrow. Marco Scudero at second. Todd Helton at first. He's in action today. And Ramon Hernandez, the veteran, behind the plate. Update, your latest update. You saw Tulo earlier.
Yeah, he took batting practice. It was still somewhat stiff when he swung, but that's to be expected. But took ground balls and said he's progressing, so he hopes to be able to play tomorrow in preparation for the opener on Friday.
So Nicasio, here he is throwing to Kawasaki, and we're underway. Munenori Kawasaki, a strong spring. Look at that, 450. Knocked in 12 runs.
He's had 3 hits yesterday and 3 more hits the day before. So you'd like to get hot towards the end of spring training, and he certainly has been that. And I think he's going to get an opportunity to play, especially at shortstop, trying to keep Brendan Ryan healthy early in the season.
Well, what was impressive about him yesterday is all his hits were in different spots. They weren't 3-pull jobs, or it was to left, up the middle, into right field.
2-1 pitch, slap foul, 2-2. Third baseman Pacheco was in on the grass. He's backed off.
We've talked about it when we've had the telecast, and his hitting style is similar, not alike, but similar to the way Ichiro goes about his business, and that is typically if he's behind in the count, he'll try to hit the ball the other way, and we've seen that he can pretty much place it out there in front of the left fielder and get a bunch of hits doing that. I'd like to see him run a little bit today if he gets on base day. We haven't seen that part of his game.
31 steals last year in Japan. Puts it in play. Backhanded by Herrera. Didn't get him. Base hit.
Well, Jordan couldn't reach the ball, and actually the Rockies have flipped it on us, because in the lineup we had, it was Jonathan Herrera was going to be at shortstop, but Marco Scudero is at shortstop, and he slid onto his backhand and made the strong throw over to first, but Kawasaki was just too fast.
Dustin Ackley, the hitter now. Good to have him back. Homered in the first game in Japan. Saw him yesterday. Was recovering, and the time effects from the travel really got to him. He caught some kind of virus over there. But here he is ready to go again. 1-0. This kid has hit everywhere he's been. His college days and in the minor leagues. Came up, played close to 100 games after his call-up last year. Outside. It's a 2-0. Ackley taking a look down at third base coach Jeff Datz. Mike Brumley's at first. Not much of a lead for Kawasaki. The pitch popped up. Playable, fighting the sun. Check goes there, makes the play.
That's what you do on a high fly ball with the sun in your way. You throw your glove up, get off to the side. Notice how he has his glove, and he's turned his body to the side. That allows you to block out the sun with your glove and get a better angle on the ball as it's traveling down.
Same issues here that we had yesterday over in Peoria, because the angles almost the same.
But no wind today. That's the
a big
key.
change.
Yeah, that's a big change from yesterday.
There's Kyle Seager playing third, batting in the 3-hole. Looks at a strike. Outstanding spring for Kyle. 357, 4 home runs, 7 RBI. misses. 1-1. Miguel Olivo's on deck for the Mariners.
Here, Jim Tracy. That was Jim Tracy in the background telling Juan to get the ball down, work it on the ground, get a double play. It's as simple as that.
I think Kyle Seager maybe has different ideas.
Yeah. He's looking for a ball up that he can drive.
One to Seager. North Carolina duo. Seager and Ackley started UNC. This one popped up. Scudero calling for it. 2 outs.
And with Scudero at shortstop, I know originally we thought Jonathan Herrera was going to be there and Scudero would be playing second base. But during the season, Jim Tracy has said that he would probably slide Scudero over from second base if Troy was to get a day off, play shortstop because he has more big league experience playing shortstop over there, and Jonathan then would be your second baseman.
We saw plenty of Scudero last year with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Here's Miguel Olivo. Hit hard. Jeff Datz. Got some quicks with the feet down there. I'm sure he's hearing it from the dugout right now.
Might give those signs and back up 10 or 12 feet, though. Okay, I'm not staying in this box that they drew out there for me. I'm going to go ahead and back up.
Mike and I always used to laugh about Larry Boa be practically in left field at the rail when Gary Sheffield was up. Fly ball center field. Piece of cake for Fowler, and that'll do it for the Mariners. No runs, a hit, no errors, and one man left. We're underway here at Salt River Field to Talking Stick. Nothing across for the Mariners. The Rockies coming up. Of the Miami Marlins, but this is Mariners Rockies action from Salt River Field to Talking Stick on a glorious day. Take a look at the Taco Bell Rockies lineup. Marco Scudero and Fowler and Gonzalez, your first three. Kid Dyer, Helton, and Giambi. G-Man is the DH. Ramon Hernandez, the veteran catcher. Jordan Pacheco at third. Jonathan Herrera at second base. Erasmo Ramirez. Mike, this is a guy that not a lot of people talked about, but he's turned in a wonderful spring.
I think he's had a great spring, and I think he surprised some people with his fastball, including myself. I was expecting him to be 89, maybe 90 at times. He's been 93 miles an hour with his fastball. He's a guy, it looks to me, is going to be in the Mariners' pen as their long guy spot starter. Can do a number of things for you, but he just continues to throw strikes, Dave, and I think that's where you see the numbers. ERA at a 1.29. He is a strike thrower.
5'11", 205. Keeps that wind up simple. First pitch to Scudero in there for a strike. Nice acquisition, Scutero.
Veteran guy that knows how to play the game of baseball.
Base hit. Scutero did a lot of damage to the Mariners our second trip into Boston last year when he was with the Sox. Let's take a look at today's Snoqualmie Casino defense for the Mariners. In the outfield, Casper Wells, Michael Saunders, and Carlos Piguero. Kyle Seager, real comfortable at third base. Kawasaki's been outstanding this spring. Ackley at second. Alex Liddy showing the versatility. A third baseman by trade. He's at first. Ramirez on the mound, and Miguel Olivo behind the dish. I'll bring up Dexter Fowler. Fowler 1 for 4 in yesterday's game over in Peoria.
With a beautiful bunt base hit. Right down the third baseline.
The lost art of, right?
It really is anymore. You'll see a handful of players still use it. Juan Pierre comes to mind. D. Gordon with the Dodgers, another guy. But
well hit, hooking foul.
But the advent of that long ball, it takes a lot of that out because these kids grow up with the aluminum bats that you could hit it off the handle. Now they've changed somewhat with the BB Core bats now that they have to use in high school and college. So bunting is coming back into vogue. But why would you bunt as a kid when you can hit one into the gap or hit it out?
Well, I agree with that, but I think when you get to this level and these guys coming through the minor leagues, you have to understand that the game is a lot different because of the wood. And yeah, I think you have to understand what type of player you are, and with the way Dexter Fowler can go get it in the outfield, get on base. And if you can use the bunt as a weapon for yourself, it also shortens up your defense. You know, the guys have to come in and respect that, and opens up some more holes for you on the infield.
And to me, it keeps you out of those prolonged slumps.
0-2. Who are the best bunters you guys played with?
Brett Butler, hands down.
Yes.
And I don't think I've ever seen anybody work harder at it than Brett Butler.
He was good. Gary Pettis.
Yeah, he could run.
He could bunt and run. But Brett Butler was by far.
Popped up. Short center field coming on Saunders. He's there. One out here in the Rockies first. They'll bring up Carlos Gonzalez. He got robbed by Kawasaki yesterday in his third at bat. Made a nice play to take a base hit away from him.
Go back and replay the game yesterday. Even when Felix was on the mound, Gonzalez probably had the best at bats off of him. He consistently hit the ball hard yesterday.
Well, he's a guy that looking from himself to have a monster season.
Scutero back safely. Here's that play by Mooney. Nice play. Knocked it down. Throws him out by about a step. Well stroked. Base hit. Scutero going to third. He'll get there easily as Piguero gets it back in. So Ramirez leaves a pitch up, and Gonzalez hammered it for a base hit first and third for Colorado.
Thank you for the hanging slider. Just stays flat into the zone. And along with that, Carlos Gonzalez in the extension. Ball was hit so hard and so deep that the right fielder had to cut it off. As Scutero trots into third base, standing up.
Here's Michael Kadire.
We talked about Scutero being a pickup acquisition for the Rockies. Kadire with the 3-year deal coming over from Minnesota to provide some right-handed punch.
We've certainly seen plenty of him over the years. Michael Kadire play first, second, third, play outfield for him. DH, good guy. Had been with the Minnesota organization his entire career.
Well, he will play 95% of his games in right field with an occasional, and I mean occasional because you still have Jason Giambi start at first base.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a nice guy to have because you always end up with some injuries, and if you have to make a change,
he got sawed off here. Liddy The Kawasaki back to Ramirez, throw wide, run scores. So you can hear Jim Tracy and his staff congratulating Gonzalez going in hard, and Kadire busting it down first base.
Well, first he busted his bat off the knuckles, but Carlos Gonzalez with the hard slide at second, somewhat of a lost art. Guys going in when you have to know as a base runner where that ball was fielded. So instead of going to the outside part of the bag, he knew where the shortstop was, and I mean Carlos Gonzalez, so he slides to the inside and disrupts the throwing motion of Kawasaki, allowing Kadire to beat it out and keep the inning going.
So the run scores. It's 1-0 Rockies. Here's Todd Helton. Mr. Colorado Rocky himself. Slicing drive down the line, out of play for Casper Wells.
Jim Tracy given a number as far as Helton goes and how many games he would like to see him play?
They're thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 110. Probably no more than 120. And what they're thinking is, let's stop him a day earlier than a day late, so it doesn't take him the 2 days to recover before he needs the day off.
This one gets away. A wild pitch. Kadire down to second.
But Todd is of the old school philosophy that I don't need a day off. Let me run out there. But where he's at in his career, he understands the value of it.
39 in August in his 15th big league season. And are we getting old? Because it seemed like I know he'd been around for a while. I just for some reason 15 didn't ring a bell until I read it. Takes a strike. He's put up some scintillating career numbers.
Well, if you look at all his extra base hits, his doubles, the list just goes on and on where he is in relation to Hall of Famers.
Yep. 1-2 pitch to Helton. Reaches out, base hit, left field. Coming around is Kadire. Throw from Wells, not in time, offline. And Helton, he'll scoot down to second. 2-0. Colorado. So Helton picks up an RBI, his 9th of the spring.
Well, this is just vintage Todd Helton. Ball away, off the plate, maybe 3 or 4 inches. Serves it. Top hand has to come off the bat to get more extension. And he flicks it to left field, allowing Kadire to slide. And then on the bad throw, Todd moves up to second. I still go back to that double play ball, the way where Carlos Gonzalez slid to disrupt Kawasaki to allow the inning to continue.
He anticipated where it
was going,
where the defender was going to be, and just that little bit of throw your timing off as you're coming across.
Because you can't get anything onto the throw as a shortstop.
Here's Giambi, takes one down in the dirt. Giambi's having a nice spring. 409 with a homer and 6 runs batted in. New daughter, London, the former American League MVP back in his days in Oakland. That one got a piece of Miguel Olivo.
Jason last year, probably his last 30 or his first 30 to 40 at bats, all came in the 9th inning against the closer.
Hello.
Yeah. And so he scuffled early on until he got to interleague, and he was able to throw bats together.
High drive. It's going to stay in the park. Peguero in fair territory, and that'll do it. Just got under it. But the Rockies have a successful first inning against Ramirez and lead 2-0. protection today. A little family outing on the berm here. Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Here, this is a great facility. This is second year, and both you and the Diamondbacks have a great facility, and a lot of cha-ching going on here, right? Yes.
There is. There was nothing left to chance. Everything was diagrammed, and if you thought you needed something, it was put in. And that's, Mike and I were talking yesterday, and we were thinking back to our first year together back in the Montreal system and how we played and worked out for spring training at a high school field in West Palm Beach, Florida, dressed in an old high school locker room. And then to come to a place like this, it's the Taj Mahal.
Really?
We were laughing about it because after Saunders steps in, but we would go out and get our workout in, and we'd get about a half an hour before the games would be played. And so we'd walk up, you'd literally go up to this little window, and the guy would give you a little cup of soup.
No way.
Yeah.
And everybody rushed to it because if you didn't get there in time, you were the guy without the crackers.
Yeah.
And the crackers were big.
Yeah. Or you wouldn't get any noodles. It was just all broth.
Oh,
things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
Now they have chefs and kitchens. And
There's Saunders to deep right center field. It's run down by Fowler for the first out.
Yeah, and one thing that the Rockies have done on their side, and speaking of chefs, and the food room is all together. Mm-hmm. So the major league guys are eating with the minor league guys. So you don't have that intimidation factor that you would have.
Is it the same way I noticed the weight facility?
The weight facility is the same thing that they can all work out together.
Because in your day,
oh, we weren't even at the same. We were about 5 miles away from the major league team, 10 miles maybe.
Right, you didn't even see them.
Yeah.
Here's Alex Liddy. Great spring for him, 381. Homer and 10 RBIs. Man, things have changed. There's the Rockies facilities out beyond right field.
And all the offices are right behind that brick wall.
I heard, we played Arizona a while ago, and we heard from some of their guys saying, hey, man, play some regular season games here. And there's the D-backs out in left field.
I'm here to report, too, apparently there's a wiffle ball field on the back side out there where we were just showing you those shots, and I'm here to report that Rick Rez, who's overdoing the game on radio, did hit a home run to left field today off a wiffle ball.
I heard Danny Wilson was showing him some sliders.
Yeah, he said he hung one slider to him, and Ricky took him out.
Oh, boy. We'll never hear the end of that one. Liddy takes a pitch outside. He's worked the full count. One out, nobody on. 2-0 Rockies. Top of the second inning.
It was good to see Dan Wilson down on the field before the game.
Yeah. I've been here for a few days now, working the radio with Rick.
Calcio's pitch fouled off. Like, what are some of the things you've liked about Liddy here this spring?
Well, I think the thing that we saw from him last year is I felt like, and it's typical of young kids, I felt like he when he take his swings, he was trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark every time he stepped in the batter's box. And if you watch him go about his business, he's shortened up his swing. He knows he has power in his bat. He has one home run this spring, but he's hit for a high average, and it's because of that. He's getting pitches to hit, and if they're throwing pitches off the plate, he's able to lay off of them. That's something that we were not able to see as you take a look at his numbers from last season. Hit 225 with the 3 home runs. And if you hung a breaking ball to him, he could handle it. But this spring, he seems to be a lot more confident. And again, this is something we talked about with all the young guys. So many guys came up for our club, Jeff, in the second half of the season to get their feet wet. You see a totally different player this year in spring training.
Well, you're in awe when you first come up. These are guys you watch on TV. Yep. You're dreaming about making it to the big leagues, and here I am. And now I've got to go out and try to get a hit.
That's Verlander out there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't see this guy down in AAA. They didn't have this Justin Verlander kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so every guy that you face in the big leagues is a number 1 starter down in AAA. But you get that feel. You finally start to relax like you belong, and then your natural talent takes over.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing for all of the young guys that they have here. Their talent. It's a talented group of kids. And I think because of the youth and having that little bit of experience, offensively they were certainly challenged last year, but they're going to be better this year because of that. And as these guys figure things out and get further along, things look pretty good for this organization as they move forward, because these guys should play together for a long period of time.
Got a good chance, and then once you get to 3, Paxton, Hultson, and Walker to the 3, prize pitchers. You get those guys up here. Man, that's going to be something.
Well, there's very few clubs that can go out and buy every player. Everybody else should be a scouting and development organization.
Peguero 1-1. Still susceptible to that pitch. 1-2.
And that pitch you were talking about was the changeup from Nicasio, and one he has worked diligently on this spring to find that comfort level. When guys are looking for the fastball, can I throw the changeup?
That misses. 2-2. 345 down the lines here. The Alley's 390, 410 straight away.
And it plays every bit of that. It doesn't play any shorter because it's down in Arizona. This is a very fair ballpark. If you hit it, you have to hit it.
This guy, the question about Peguero, can he consistently hit it, because he's got unbelievable power, but he takes a called third strike for out number 2. First strikeout for Nicasio.
Back-to-back off-speed pitches, and then a fastball to lock up Carlos. Thought it was inside, and we saw that pitch yesterday from Felix Hernandez, that hip side fastball that catches the inside part of the corner for a lefty.
Here's Casper Wells. Trying to get over the Mendoza mark. Liddy back safely with the dive. No other way to say it, but it's been a tough go for Mr. Wells. $186, 8 for 43.
Seems like every spring training there's always that guy. Somebody's hitting 400 and somebody else is having a tough time to hit 200.
There's one driven deep to the gap in left center field, off the base of the fence. Liddy getting a big wave around. He's going to come around and score. And Casper Wells comes through with an RBI double to get the Mariners on the board. It's 2-1 Colorado. For Wells, it's his 4th RBI. It's the best ball he's hit all spring. They really got into that one.
Well, and I think what we've noticed over the last few days is he's been more aggressive early in the count. And sometimes hitters will just take pitches early in spring training to get a look at it, but you're getting to the point in spring training where you need to see some results, and he looks like he's a guy that wants to be a little bit more aggressive. We saw him hit a double to right field the other day, and solid double to left center this time.
Good to see him ring one up. Here's John Jaso. John looks at his strike. John DHing today. John entered yesterday's game after Montero was hit in the head by a pitch from Escalona. There's Eric Wedge. And loves versatility out of his guys. Jaso takes a lot of ground balls on a daily basis at first base in addition to his catching duties. Good count here for Jaso. 2-1. Tying run at second. Casper Wells, pretty good speed. Outside, 3-1.
Trying to stay sharp this year for Jaso is going to be difficult because Alibo's going to catch the majority of the time. They're going to try to mix Montero in there for the few games that are left, and that doesn't leave many at bats for Jaso.
And on a 3-1 pitch, he draws a walk. Second walk of the ball game here from Nicasio.
Jeff, you know it. You had to do it. I had to do it. When you sit on the bench and you can get all the extra work you want on your batting practice and in the tunnels and all that, but just stepping between those lines and all of a sudden 95's coming at you. And that's a tough job to have, and I've always respected guys, especially the backup catchers. Such a difficult job to have, and it's going to be more so for Jaso this year.
And you think about a backup catcher, what's his primary responsibility?
Yeah, that pitcher on the mound.
Yeah, handle that pitcher and work with him and get him through the game. And, oh, by the way, I've got to try to get a hit in today's game. Yeah, go get him, kid. And that's not a fun place to be. But I always think, well, is it better to get that 1 or 2 starts a week at the major league level, or start 5 days or 6 days down in AAA? And I think, at some point you come to that point in your career where, well, it is what it is. I'm going to try to be the best I can.
And I think Jaso's there in his career. Hey, you're not talking about some young kid that is a big prospect for you. And those are the guys that probably handle it better than most because they understand it and they accept it, and that's a big part of it.
Accepting it. That's the key to that whole sentence. You have to accept the role that you might not like it, because everybody wants to be an everyday player.
Right. And on the ground to the shortstop, Scooter O, short way. That'll do it for the Mariners, but a productive inning. An RBI by Casper Wells makes it a 2-1 game here at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick.
For the Mariners as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Hey, Rockies fans, a ticket lottery for purchasing opening day rock pile tickets will be held this Saturday, April 7th at Coors Field. Between 7:30 and 9:30 a.m., random numbered wristbands will be distributed. At 9:30, the drawing will be held to determine the order for purchasing tickets. And then at 10 a.m., tickets go on sale. There'll be a limit of 4 tickets per person. And the key for this is there will be no rock pile tickets available for sale on opening day. So remember, Saturday, April 7th at Coors Field for home opener rock pile tickets.
Glad you're with us for some afternoon baseball from Salt River Field to Talking Stick. Dave Sims, Jeff Houston, and Mike Blowers. Here's Ramon Hernandez, veteran catcher, looking at strike one. It'll be Hernandez, Pacheco, and Herrera, 7, 8, 9 in the order for the Rockies. Fly ball, left field for Wells. Sunglasses on, he's got it. There's one out. Let's check in with Jenny Kavanaugh.
Yeah, as you look at the opening day roster coming up, it's nice to check out all the pieces of the puzzle that Jim Tracy and his staff have put together. The key word this season will be versatility. And when you look at the projected starting lineup for opening day, you'll notice 2 different guys at third base. Well, it looks like Jordan Pacheco will get that start come opening day, as Jim Tracy told me this morning. Chris Nelson will probably go day 2 to back up Jamie Moyer, as he has a quick first step there defensively at third base. I did talk to Pacheco yesterday. And, this guy has a lot of versatility. He can play third, he can play first, he can be a backup catcher. And I asked him about his preparation during spring training for all three positions. And he said, I really had to take some advice from Michael Kadire. Just focus on one thing every day that will make me better because, guys, we know there's not enough hours in the day to work on all three positions.
He could be, from sun up to sundown.
Fouled into the catcher's glove. Strike on Pacheco.
But that was a good piece of advice that Jordan got, to go to a veteran guy that has been there and done that. Say for that day, I'm going to be playing third base. I'm going to take all my reps at third base. And then the next day, maybe split it half and half. Go to second, go to first base if you know you're not starting. Use those days you're not starting to get the extra work defensively.
I was fortunate early in my career. I had to do a lot of that. And then later I had to do it again. But early in my career, I got some of the same advice, and I thought it was great advice to have because you can't concentrate on all of those things every single day. When you're going to the ballpark that day, you have to have an idea, especially in spring training, what you're going to work on for that day and stick with that. I think you get a lot more out of it.
This one popped up. Oh, good effort by Wells. Just missed. Boy, that's scary, too.
Well, it takes me back to last year, the very first spring training game for the Rockies. Almost in that identical area, you had Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki, and Ian Stewart all converging on a ball, and Ian Stewart came out of that hurt and never recovered the whole year, and then he was traded this offseason. But it was that Bermuda Triangle down there where nobody can get to it, but everybody can.
And you can see where that wall is, too. It's a bad area as far as somebody running because it looks like it's right at your kneecaps as you get down there.
0-2 to Pacheco. Blocked there by Olivo. Spoke a few minutes ago about Montero being hit in the head. He's fine. Mariners' young catcher. Good to go. Good chance to see him tomorrow. Got today off. 1-2 strikes. At the end of the bat, Liddy. And Ramirez does his job. 2 outs. Roster move today, Mike.
Yeah, Sean Kelly ends up getting optioned out to Tacoma. I'm sure that it was a bit of a surprise to him. You see what he did over the spring. His numbers are good. He did give up the one hit when the guys were over in Japan, and last year coming back from surgery, missed most of the year. Didn't get a chance to talk to Eric Wedge this morning, but I will definitely do that tomorrow to figure out what the plans are going to be for Sean and why the move was made. But Sean Kelly optioned out to Tacoma today.
Here's Jonathan Herrera. So as you think about the shakeout in the bullpen, who gains an advantage with Kelly being out now?
Well, for me, I think that means Delabar is definitely in because he's kind of where Sean would have fit in the bullpen. You look at the right-handers down there. Ramirez, somebody pitching today, but he was going to be more of a long guy. I think you're kind of looking right now where Wilhelmsson pitched the 8th and you have Brandon League in the 9th. Who's going to pitch that really critical 7th inning for you? And a lot of times you have the lefty-righty matchup. And I think that that's going to be Delabar's job as the right-hander to do that.
Nice pitch by Ramirez to dismiss Herrera. 1-2-3. Performance by Erasmo Ramirez here in the second. Third inning coming up with the Rockies leading 2-1. Rockies 2-1 over the Mariners. I love the Scenics here in Arizona. Gonna miss them, although we do come back and play the Diamondbacks in the early portion of the spring. It'll be 18, actually a little bit into June. It'll be 18, 19, and 20 of June. As Ackley is behind 0-1.
Come to Colorado the 18th, 19th, and 20th of May.
Looking forward. That's what it was. I had a flip-flop. Yeah. We'll see plenty of the National League West this year. Ackley, first time up, popped out to the third baseman.
The Rockies in their interleague portion. We'll see, obviously, Seattle, Angels, Oakland, Texas, and then also throw in Detroit.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a murderer's row on a trip. You go to Detroit, Philadelphia, Texas.
Have some.
For 9 days.
Have at it, my man.
Yeah.
You get pitching with Philly like crazy. It'll be interesting to see when Ryan Howard comes back. Ackley to the gap. He can run. That's going to drop down in front of Gonzalez. Cargo will get it back in. Ackley looks like he's going to be a hit machine with this ball club for a lot of years.
I would agree with you. Already has a home run, hit a home run in Japan, came up with a big base hit late in the first game. Give the Mariners their win. Level swing. Farrell stays through the hitting area for a long time. Jeff gives himself doesn't have to be perfect all the time. Gives himself every opportunity to get a base hit.
And what's interesting, we talk about hitting so much that it's not how you start, but how you finish. And to see his feet so close together when he starts, but it comes down to you don't start your swing so that your front foot hits the ground and where the bat path is.
The other thing that's unique about his swing is he really, guys talk about hitting against a stiff front side, lock that front side out. He doesn't do that. He drifts right along with it. For me, the only guy that I could think of that had a lot of success doing that was Wade Boggs. It's very similar once you see their stances at the beginning of it are different, but you take a look at him. And this pitch, he's actually out in front of it a little bit, but he just stays with it as he goes through it, head on the ball all the time. You see his front leg? You see that a lot from him. Yeah. And he can generate some power doing that, which is unusual.
I was trying to think of another guy that stood as tall with his feet as close together, and the first thought that came to my mind was Mickey Tettleton.
Yes.
Wow, good call. Good call.
It just looks just like Mickey, where his feet were 3 or 4 inches apart, held the bat high.
Right. 1-1 to count to Seager with Ackley at first. This one to left field for Gonzalez. Kyle 0 for 2. One down here in the third.
Didn't Mickey eat all those Fruit Loops when he was on that roll?
What year was that? Was that their 84 year? Or was it a little bit after that?
I think it was a little later than that.
Yeah. Here's Miguel Olivo. Flat out to center, his first at bat. 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors for Colorado. 1 run, 3 hits, and no errors for the Mariners. Pop up again. Second baseman, Herrera. Makes the catch. And Nicasio's doing a nice job getting these guys to pop up. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of his outs have been fly balls or pop-ups.
Well, it tells you one of two things. Either his fastball has late life on it, or there's more deception on the breaking pitches than you think.
Here's Michael Saunders, flied out to center, his first at bat. He homered. Check that. Got a base hit. First pitch in Japan last week. And ran into Michael in the hallway. Dude, nice way to turn it loose the first half. He said, listen, I told my wife I had to have an average coming out of Japan.
Anytime you can get an average after your first regular season game, you're doing well.
2-0. I think it's going to get interesting, Mike, with Franklin Gutierrez taking BP yesterday. Looked good doing it, too. Be off the DL sometime in April.
Well,
2-1.
And Michael's had a great spring, and everybody's been excited about the changes that he has made. And we talked about what a good athlete is, and he can go get it in center field. But Franklin Gutierrez is the one with the Gold Glove, and if you can get him back running around catching the ball for you and healthy to help you out offensively, that's what you need to do.
Jeff,
it's like making a trade.
Yeah.
When he was healthy, it was ridiculous how he covered gap to gap. And sometimes it seemed like he was going end line to end line.
And that's what, I mean, the game now is you can't give them any team a 28th out. And so if you have a guy that can track down the baseball, it makes your pitching staff that much better.
Change up at 3-1, fouled off.
I think that's one of the big advantages that the Mariners have with if you get Franklin in center again healthy, which he wasn't last year, but then the job that Brendan Ryan did at shortstop and the amount of hits he takes away, you're not only not giving extra outs, but you're taking hits away. That's a big advantage up the middle.
Well, that's where think back to the Rockies in 07, and they led all of baseball in fielding percentage that year. Then
3-2 pitch, slice foul.
It's just that. When you need the double play, you get the double play, and it's not a 29-30 out ball game. Because at this level, the difference between winning and losing is so small. And to have a guy like a Brendan Ryan, as you mentioned with the Mariners, who can just flat out catch the ball, professional ball catcher, and a guy Gutierrez who's a Gold Glove. Up the middle, you have to be strong.
Payoff pitch, sliced into the gap. Base hit for Michael Saunders. All the way to third as Saunders will slam on the brakes and get back to first. Ackley to third, and the Mariners brewing something here with 2 outs.
And Michael continues to swing a hot bat. Good piece of hitting, hands inside the ball, solid line drive over the shortstop. The other thing I like what he did is he rounded first base and ran halfway to second before going back. And he was aware of, one, that there are 2 outs as you see Michael coming around. He runs well. But if he wasn't sure that he was going to get into second, pull up, give yourself a chance to get a run by the next hitter. Probably, if things are a little bit different, less than 2 outs, he may give it a shot and go for it. Or if there was nobody in front of him.
Or if Dexter doesn't throw the ball to second base, if he tries to throw to third, he just jogs into second.
Right.
Here's Liddy, looks at a ball 1. Alex first time up, he walked and scored on the RBI double by Casper Wells. That was in the second inning.
I think that's something, Dave, that we're going to hear a lot from Eric Wedge about the base running, because they have so many young guys running the bases, and he's going to be on them about constantly thinking before a ball is hit and making different plays. That's the next step for these guys, taking advantage of that. He wants them to be aggressive now, and we saw that in the games in Japan. And you're going to run into some outs at times, but he wants them to understand when you take the chance and when it's not a good idea to do that.
2-0 to Liddy, 2 on. There's a strike.
So much about base running is instincts. By the time you look for a coach to give you an answer whether to stop or go, it's too late. You have to make that decision, and then he might hold you up, but you have to make that decision coming out of the box or rounding a bag that I'm going to try to get there.
2-1. Count evens at 2-2 to Alex Liddy.
You talk to anybody that has coached third, and they'll tell you just that, Jeff, that they want you to be aggressive and let me hold you up. Because sometimes they have to keep their eye on the play, and they're going to assume you're running hard the whole time before they make a decision. All of a sudden they're waving you, and you've already shut it down a little bit, and then they look terrible.
Yeah, they can't look at both spots.
Right.
2-2. Saunders goes, fouled off. Two outs here in the top of the third, a 2-1 lead for Colorado. Rockies 2 runs on 2 hits in the first. Mariners with a run on 2 hits and make that a run on 1 hit in the second inning. But he's got runners at the corners with 2 outs. Struck him out. What a pitch by Nicasio to get him. Strikeout number 2 for Juan as the Mariners get no runs, couple of hits, no errors, and a couple of men left on. 2-1 Colorado. One lead over the Mariners, and for those of you watching in the Northwest, Mariners opening day from Oakland is just days away. Make sure you're with us this Friday as Seattle kicks off a weekend series with the Athletics. Live coverage gets underway at 6:30 right here on Root Sports. Let's check in with Brad Adam.
Well, Dave, thank you very much. You guys mentioned Sean Kelly being optioned to AAA Tacoma. The roster right now stands at 27. Of course, 2 more cuts need to be made before that game Friday in Oakland. And right now, the plan is for the team to make those moves after tomorrow's game, the spring training finale against these Rockies, which means that a couple of players on the bubble today, guys like Carlos Peguero, George Sherrill, who we'll see later, trying to prove that he's healthy. There's lots to play for these guys today and tomorrow as they fight to make that 25-man roster again when the season resumes in Oakland. And I talked to Darren Brown, the Tacoma Rainiers AAA manager, and I said, hey, off the record, wink, wink, who's going to make the team? Who's coming down to Tacoma? And he said he didn't even know. They didn't tell him. He's going to have to find out Wednesday when they make the cuts like with everybody else. So lots to play for. Fun in the sun for us here, guys. But on the field, these guys are really grinding it out, trying to make that 25-man squad.
High anxiety, Brad. High anxiety. It can't be easy for these guys. Thank you so much. Top of the order, Marco Scutero. Lead it off here for the Rockies. He's behind 0-2.
So you mean the last thing you think about is whether you're making the team before you go to bed, and the first thing you think of when you wake up in the morning? That's not fun.
What you dream about?
Yeah. Wake up in a cold sweat at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Tell you, I don't miss those days.
Then throw it.
What are you laughing about?
And there's nothing you can tell a guy either, right, to prepare for it.
No, and the other thing, too, is as a player, and the guys look around the locker room, they start doing the math. They probably started about a week and a half ago trying to figure things out. And you have an idea of where you're at and where you stand with the organization. But sometimes, it comes down to some numbers games.
Fly ball right field, backing up Peguero. He's got it tracked. He makes the catch.
And maybe you've come to spring training and you've done everything that you can do. Maybe you're hitting 340 for the spring and making all the plays defensively, but sometimes it's just not good enough because of the numbers.
Or you
have options, and you understand that too. The players know about all that, and they're aware of what their situation is, and it can be difficult sometimes. It's tough.
Dexter Fowler stand in. Alex Liddy, like his chances. Kyle Seager, I like his chances. As Mike pointed out in the pregame show, Dustin Ackley, he's got nothing to worry about. What do you think of Ramirez after here he is working now, retired, 5 in a row?
Roughed up a little bit in the first inning, but I think that for him, he's doing exactly what Eric Wedge has loved about him, and he's throwing strikes. working quickly. I think that's one of the reasons why, when you look at those things that he does on the mound and being able to throw strikes, is why you like to have him out in your bullpen. You don't have to worry about whether he's going to at least do that for you when you bring him in.
Good look at breaking ball. 1-2 to Fowler.
I think he'll get some starts this year, too.
And it looks like he has enough pitches to be a starter. It's not just a 2-pitch pitcher. He's got 3 or 4 different types.
And he can throw them all for strikes. He has a real good idea of what he's doing.
To the gap, Saunders on one hop. Make it 2 after the bobble. And Fowler in full gear. My goodness, he's at third base. Boy, when he can get from first to third in a heartbeat.
Or home to third, it doesn't matter. He has a long stride that eats up a ton of ground. And I know the folks back in the Northwest do not get to see Dexter Fowler run, but I know a guy that I compared him to who played in the American League for a long time was Devon White.
Very similar.
And the stride that he takes and makes it look so effortless, while everybody else, their arms are churning and their legs are pumping, and Dexter is a smooth glide.
For most of the other guys that are down on that field today, Michael Saunders can drop the ball like he did out in center field, and they're still going to end up at second base.
Right. Not Dexter.
Fowler at third. There's Gonzalez. A triple for Fowler. 1 out. Infield in close. 2-0. Gonzalez first time up. Solid base hit to right.
Well, here we are in the bottom of the third inning, and Eric Wedge decides to bring his infield up.
Well, with a guy that had 70 RBIs and hit .339 with runners in scoring position, it's never a fun time to bring your infield in. Be that infielder.
Well, I think you've noticed that the infielders on the right side of the infield are playing a little bit further back. Can't say that I blame them.
No, give him an extra blink.
Liddy and Ackley about halfway. Kawasaki a lot closer. And Seager, the shortstop and third baseman, respectively. This one fouled off.
Remember my first spring training, I went and played a third game over at third base. Dave Winfield comes up.
Oh, boy.
And the guys at the dugout were yelling, play in, he might bunt. I was back on the dirt grass area. Dave, when he had that leg kick and that bat whip.
3-1 to Gonzalez. Kawasaki line drive to double him up. There you go. Inning over.
Not good base running from Dexter.
Not at all. The Mariners will take it. They get out of a possible run-yielding situation. 3 in the books. It's 2-1 Rockies as Kawasaki throws to Seager for the out. Rockies, and on the mound for Colorado, Juan Nicasio. Let's take you back to August 15th last year. This is about as scary a sight and sound as you ever want to have in baseball.
Off the bat of Ian Desmond, hits him square on the head, and when he falls back onto his head, and if you could hear 40,000 people be as silent as that's the way it was that night.
A month later, he's got the halo on. Great ovation.
He's out there with his mom. His mom and then came into town 3 or 4 days later. Was able to enjoy the reception that he received.
And here he is on the mound.
And it was the fall backwards that caused the neck damage, right?
They think they're not quite sure which it was, where it broke the vertebrae. But you could just tell from being hit and then the full force of landing on your head.
Yeah, you're dead weight at that point. You can't support your neck.
No.
You've got no chance.
No, but the training staff and the ambulance, the hospital, they were phenomenal in the treatment.
Here's Nicasio. He's got a 2-1 lead. That is a foul ball off the bat of Peguero. So
now that I think the fans back in the Seattle area, the Northwest, can understand when we talk about Nicasio and how he's able to come back and just basically a miracle just to be pitching again.
Well, I carried even further than first of all, miracle be alive.
Be alive, yes. Yeah, the rate is anywhere from 70 to 75% of the vertebrae that he broke, either unfortunate passing or being paralyzed.
How about Peguero goes down to get one, base hit into right field. Good start for the Mariner fourth.
Not to mention, Jeff, the amount of courage it takes to go back out there after something like that has happened.
Yeah, and you will get a shot at the back of his neck to see the scar.
Wow.
That he had, or has, excuse me. But yeah, the courage. But he was throwing again and doing everything. And we had heard reports in January that he's working out down in the Dominican and it's all good. But until you see it with your own two eyes.
Strike to Casper Wells. Boy, that's some strong character right there.
It speaks to his character and his determination.
Casper Wells had a good at bat first time up, doubled to left center field. Ooh, jeez, hit him on the leg. The Mariners have runners at first and second now, the hard way.
Running fastball, looks like it gets him right above the knee.
So 2 on for the Mariners, brings up John Jaso. He walked in a 3-1 pitch his first time up.
And that was just a case of Nicasio, saying pitching terms, running away from his arm. He instead of staying directionally towards where he wanted to throw inside, his momentum had taken him more towards the first base side and left the arm behind.
That's what caused the fastball to run as much as it did, yeah.
In at third is Pacheco. Jaso takes ball one. Peguero's at second, Wells at first. Looks at a strike, 1-1. Jaso in the 9 hole. Turn the order over again. The third time around. It's Nicasio with Kawasaki coming to bat next. Outside corner. All 2 strikes. Nicasio will be the number 3 starter opening up this season. Guthrie, you got Jamie Moyer, Nicasio, and Chaucin. And then eventually you said you're...
The Drew Pomerantz on the 15th of April.
Right. So down goes Jaso. 1 out, 2 on. Strikeout number 3 for Nicasio. So Munenori Kawasaki now will stand in. He's 1 for 2. Got an infield hit. Scudero and Herrera double play depth up the middle. Figueroa's a big man who can run. He's at second. Jasper Wells has pretty good speed at first. So 1-1. Mariners will be moving on to Oakland. Resume the opening series with the Athletics. Look out. Right over Ackley's head.
It's no fun when you're standing on the on-deck circle. You're thinking about your at-bat and the pitch. And
here comes a missile.
You're somewhat paying attention to that guy hitting. When he fires one over your head.
You're so close, I'm not sure there's much you could do about it.
Hope it doesn't hit you.
1-2. Munenori Kawasaki.
See him shaking his hand a lot. Is that a thing he just does?
I just think
that's loose.
That's part of his deal right now, I think.
It's like Garciaparra with his cleats.
Off the glove of Nicasio. There's one. That's all they'll get. Moving to third is Figueroa. Wells is erased. 1-4-6. 2 down. The Mariners again. Runners at the corners. Good hitter in Ackley. Single to left. His last time up, he's 1 for 2. This guy had 7 triples last year. 6 home runs. And you know how spacious our ballpark is. Does a great job. Rattled a few fences last year.
I'm sure will rattle even more this year. Another year experience, figuring out his own swing.
And it'll be his first full year. He had 7 triples after being called up in the 90 games. You can see, so already put him down for double digits on triples this year.
Oh boy. Why not? After what we saw last year?
He's not only fast, though, but he rounds the bases as good as anybody I've seen in a long time. And when the ball is hit hard, you watch him. He takes off right away. He does everything fundamentally correct as far as running the bases to give himself every chance to get to third.
Mariners open a season or reopen a season in Oakland. Felix Hernandez, Jason Vargas. They'll be going against Brendan McCarthy and Bartolo Colon. Back up the middle. Oh, wow. Nice stop by Scudero. Throws him out. Beautifully done. Ball was hit hard, but Marco Scudero takes care of it. And the Mariners are denied a run here on a fine play by the veteran shortstop. 2-1 Rockies. otherwise and having a good time. 2-1 Rockies over the Mariners. I hope they get the sunscreen for the little fella out there. Holiday season here. Fans enjoying the time here in Arizona. New pitcher for the Mariners, and it's Tom Wilhelmsen. So Erasmo Ramirez, he goes the first 3, and now Wilhelmsen. There's the 8th inning setup guy for the Mariners. He'll face Michael Kadire, Todd Helton, and Jason Giambi. Boy, there's some experience there. Rocky first inning, but Ramirez did a nice job.
The amount of strikes that he throws, pitch count, more you'd think it would be.
Dyer reached on a fielder's choice and scored in that first inning.
See the numbers for Tom this spring: 7 2/3, giving up 10 hits. It's a high total for him. 6 strikeouts.
Dyer jumps on this one down the left field line. Fair ball off the fence. Dyer into second with a leadoff double here in the 4th inning.
Leg kick, ball missed its location, and then the drive to, we talked about the soft front side, more of a firm front side for Michael Kadire. Get that leg planted into the ground and hit off that.
And in the 2-0 count, get it down there early.
Oh, yeah.
Turn it loose.
Try to hook something.
Here's Todd Helton. In tight. Always impressive reading up on Helton. One of 8 players with .320 batting average, 400 on base, and .550 slug for his career. And the company's phenomenal is Liddy bobbles, covering. Wilhelmsen throws it high. Run's going to score. Goes into the dugout. That looked like it was a good play, and then it all fell apart.
Showing a lack of experience over at first. Liddy goes over. The ball's hit firmly, knocks it down. It ends up behind him, and then he panics and just throws it too hard and high for the pitcher. He had time to make a better throw. You can watch him just spin and fire it towards the first baseman. A little bit of a panic. You'll learn with a little more experience. You have some more time over there.
Well, and also know who's running.
And this one gets by Olivo. So Helton all the way to third. Yeah, tough thing too with Liddy. You got Wilhelmsen 6'4", 6'5". A nice big target there, and he
still overthrew him.
Yep.
And you have to remember too, the pitcher's on the run. He's trying to find the bag and look for the ball at the same time. If he fields it cleanly, he gives it to him well before he gets to the base, so he can just run to it with the baseball. But after that, he's kind of all over the place.
Well hit by Giambi. That'll pick up another run. 4-1 Colorado. Jason comes through. He's 1 for 2 today. Picks up his 7th RBI of the spring.
Jason can still swing the bat, even being over 40.
That's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He just turned around
and made it look easy too. That's the thing for Jason is it's so much fun to be around him. Mike, I know you played with him and I played against him, but you think of just a big brute guy that doesn't know anything about hitting. But you talked hitting with the guy. He understands the mechanics, what a pitcher's trying to do to you, everything that's involved, and he's willing to share that knowledge.
You said a little encouraging word to Liddy there too.
Yeah.
Hang with him. Pat him on the back.
And I think the message from Carl Willis out to Tom Wilhelmsen, you might want to work ahead of a couple of hitters here. These guys can hit a fastball even if you're throwing 95 miles an hour and you're behind in the count.
Ramon Hernandez. Fifth team in his career for Hernandez. Started out with Oakland back in '99. Went to San Diego in '04, Baltimore in '07, Cincinnati last 3 years. Look out.
Well, he's been very vocal this spring, and that is something that has been lacking here with the Rockies. Yorvik Torrealba was a very vocal leader and got the most out of his pitchers, and Rockies just felt that this is what they had to do. They had to get a guy that had some energy behind the plate.
.266 career hitter. 14th season. 2-1. 2-2 now with Giambi at first base. Back up the middle. Eludes Kawasaki. And Giambi will go station to station, so first and second.
Rocky Mountain viewers, join Root Sports and 850 KOA as they head over to Blake Street Tavern in Denver this Friday at 3 o'clock to watch the Rockies take on the Astros. On opening day, you'll have a chance to win great prizes, meet our own sideline reporter from Root Sports, that's Mark Stout, and watch the Rockies kick off their 2012 season. This Friday, 3 p.m., don't miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Blake Street Tavern.
Aaron's a couple of errors here in the fourth inning. Colorado scored twice. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. Jordan Pacheco, the third baseman, tap back to the pitcher. He's 0 for 1.
And Tom again falling behind in the count, behind 2-0.
This is what he did. We saw some of this last year in springtime. Two-0 count. 2 on, nobody out. They play Pacheco straight away. Outfield of Wells, Saunders, and Peguero.
He's a gap-to-gap guy. See him wear out right center field.
Strike 2 called. Giambi's at second. Hernandez at first. The pitch hit foul. Neither one of the guys on the base pass be anchoring any 4x100s.
They might be anchoring. As in throw down the anchor.
Two and two. Well, he's putting up a good battle here.
And Jordan, since he's come to the big leagues at the end of last year, carried it on to this spring, he's found a way to hit. And when you can hit, they'll find a place for you to play. And good that was those are great numbers for a rookie coming up. And in an area that the Rockies struggled last year with runners in scoring position.
2 and 2. Breaking ball hit foul again.
And Tom's fastball, 94, 95 miles an hour. He has one of the better hooks in the American League. And give Pacheco some credit. He's fouling off some pretty good pitches right now.
8th pitch coming up. Look out. Boy, that ball really got hit hard. Boy, put that glove on. Be
It
alive.
it doesn't do you any good to be carrying it.
Be alive.
Yeah, I had my glove with me. I just wasn't wearing it.
Glove was just watching. Man. Good test of wills here.
I always felt as a hitter, once you see a pitcher for 8, 9, 10 pitches, the advantage went to your side.
This one's going to stay fair. Left fielder Wells get under it. First out of the inning here in the bottom of the fourth. Brings up Jonathan Herrera. Struck out looking in his first at bat. 75-degree day here at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. And that gets through Olivo. Runners will move up. Here's a look at that last pitch.
Yeah, he just pulls across his body on a fastball. Again at 95 miles an hour. No chance for Olivo to get over there and stop it from going to the backstop.
Wild pitch. Second and third now, one out. Put it in play, Ackley. Will throw out their runner as Jambi scores to make it 5-1 Colorado. RBI for Herrera, his fourth.
That was interesting from just from a opponent's perspective when the Mariners play the infield in with Carlos Gonzalez in a 2-1 game, but Jonathan Herrera, who doesn't have the pop that Carlos has, in a 4-1 game, they play the infield back.
Spring training, Jeff.
I know.
Spring
I
training.
know. See, I'm already getting into opening day mode. Okay, I'm opening day mode. Let's go.
Who is it, right?
Yes.
Let's do this.
Guarantee you the players are there.
Yes, they are.
Seventh hitter in the inning. This is Marco Scutero. Hit that off the end of the bat. Liddy leads Wilhelmsen. And they end the inning. Some damage done. 3 runs scored. Couple of errors, couple of wild pitches. Rockies lead at 5-1. Lead here at Salt River Field, Talking Stick. A lot of fans enjoying the game. Dave Sims, Jeff Houston, and Mike Blowers. So far, what you've seen from a couple of these pitchers here today from Colorado's perspective, your thoughts?
Well, I think you have to be pleased with the way Nicasio has come out in his last tune-up start before the opening day. And to me, he's shown, we know he has a good fastball, but
right.
Today he's shown more breaking pitches, more sliders, more changeups that he's been able to throw for strikes. And when he's fallen behind, he's been able to go to those pitches.
Meanwhile, for Erasmo Ramirez, I thought he was a little shaky at first, but he comes back nicely his last couple of innings.
Well, again, for him, he throws so many strikes. And I felt like early in the game he was throwing strikes, but he was throwing them in the middle of the plate. And the Rockies made him pay for that. But after that, he settled down fine, started working the edges, mixing in his breaking ball a little bit more. And so I think it was a positive outing for him. On the flip side of that, Tom Wilhelmsen really struggled in the last inning. And you just don't know. Is that an indication we're talking about the guys ready to start their season? Well, the Mariners already started their season. Then they had to stop. And the guys that are on the club and not trying to win a job right now, and Tom is certainly one of the guys, he will be the setup guy. You have to wonder where he's at.
Here's Seager, puts a charge into one. Straightaway center field, off the batter's eye. Fowler gets it back in. And Kyle Seager with a leadoff double here in the fifth. Boy, he hit that a long way. It's
Give the man a home run.
He hit it that far, should be.
Well, Kyle came to camp, and what he wanted to do is he's always somebody that's collected hits throughout his career in the minor leagues and even last year in the second half. But he wanted to drive the baseball, and this one, as you mentioned, Dave, 410 feet away above the padding. Should be a home run, Jeff. But it'll be a double off the bricks rules out there. You know people, though. You can talk to some people about it. A little yellow line across there or something. What do you think?
I like the idea. Like I'm saying, you hit it for over 410 feet, and with some height, you should get a home run.
Absolutely.
I mean, you would have been able to hit it up in those cactus up there, but I mean, for the rest of the guys,
if I started from second base.
Fourth double of the spring for Seager. It's a big league pop up. Pacheco's going to come back to him. It does.
And, of course, the ballpark here is no different than any of the other ballparks down here in Arizona. They all have the huge batter's eye, and you have to have it. So the hitters can pick things up. But you can go ahead and do that about a dozen times during the season this year, and he'll be okay.
Well, I was just thinking back to the interview that he had with him yesterday and say how he tried to turn more with the shoulders,
tuck his shoulder
in, and that allows you to drive the ball because it's more of a coil swing.
Right.
You get all your momentum going back, and then you explode to the ball. And you could tell when that ball left his bat that he got that shoulder turn that he was talking about.
Saunders goes straight away center field this time. That's off the batter's eye as well. Seager's going to score easily. And Michael Saunders with an RBI double. 5-2 Colorado. Little pop for the Mariners here in the fifth. Saunders 2 for 3 on the day.
And this one is just crushed to center field pitch. Outer third. Saunders again being aggressive, which is what he's done all spring. And this one even goes up higher on the batter's eye than the one that Kyle Seager hit out there.
I was laughing at Dexter Fowler, the way he played that ball. He stood there like it's a can of corn.
Yep.
And he played it off the wall perfectly.
He knew he had no chance immediately.
Why even run back there? I'll take my 2 or 3 strides so I can pick it up and throw it in.
Here's Liddy. Alex, a walk and run scored and a strikeout today.
And this is a veteran move from Ramon Hernandez. You have 2 balls that have been hit hard off the center field wall. You fall behind the next hitter 2-0. Nicasio's trying to overthrow. Hernandez, slow it down. Get back into throwing like you can and not overthrow. Let your natural motion take over.
Liddy trying to pick up a run here. 1 out. Sliced down the right field line. That is a foul ball. 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Colorado. 2 runs, 7 hits, and 3 errors for the Mariners. We talked about these 3 guys, Mike, in the open, and they've contributed.
And I think, again, you wait for opportunities. Well, a couple of them presented themselves this spring. So, 1, you have to be ready to play, and then 2, put up some numbers. And you can see with all 3 of those young guys, the numbers are there for them this spring. Eric Wedge having some options, but it looks like early start of the season, the young guys are going to get a chance to play. Everybody has to start somewhere. It's just a matter of whether you're ready for that opportunity and do something with it.
2-2 to Liddy. Saunders at second. Liddy came up last year. I believe it was Anaheim, his first stop, I believe, when we saw him. And coming out of San Remo, Italy. First Italian-born major leaguer. Nice kid, too. Boy, taking in all the wonderment of it all was pretty cool watching him experience it. He's worked the full count here, 3-2. Carlos Peguero. He waits. Pitch number 80 coming up. 88 coming up. Pitch. Solid base hit up the middle. Saunders made sure it goes through. Getting a wave on us. Fowler will get it back in. So Alex Liddy picks up an RBI. It's 5-3 Colorado. Like good choice of the folks to talk about in the pregame show, because Seager has had a good inning. Saunders and Liddy.
It's great when a plan comes together, Dave. But Liddy, he does a great job of staying on a breaking ball that was away from him after a good fastball in on his hands. He's able to get enough of it, fight it off, back up the middle, and Saunders is able to score on it.
Good at bat, too.
It's a good at bat.
Jim Tracy.
Well, you know, Jim's going out there now. That's 90 pitches for Nicasio. A good outing for him, and Tyler Chatwood's coming in to relieve him.
Pitching change, back with more right after this. Things going on. What's he working on there? Looks like
a lid on top of his drink.
A little bit parched. Very comfortable here, though. 75 degrees here at Salt River Fields. Talking Stick. Tyler Chatwood obtained from the Angels for catcher Chris Iannetta.
Yeah, just 22 years of age. Former second-round pick by the Angels back in 2008. Came into camp competing for the 5th spot in the rotation. Well, Jamie Moyer locked down a spot in the rotation, so Tyler Chatwood is going into the bullpen and will open up in the bullpen come Friday in Houston. He made 25 starts last year for the Angels, 27 total appearances.
Yeah, we saw him a couple times last year.
He's got a strong arm. He's deceiving. He is listed at 6 foot 185, and at 6 feet might be generous. But a fastball, 92 miles an hour.
Garrow looks at a strike.
12-6 curveball.
I believe he was on the mound in that game that got rain and sleeted out a couple of Sundays ago over in Peoria. Peguero today struck out looking, got a base hit to right. RBIs by Saunders and Liddy here in the 5th inning. Seager got it started with a double off the center field wall. There's an off-speed pitch to Peguero in there for strike.
Talking to various scouts about Chatwood, and they kept going back to how he competes. Just a competitor out on the hill.
Runner goes, throw by Hernandez, not in time, into center field. Alex Liddy with a stolen base goes to third on the throwing error by the catcher Hernandez.
Hernandez comes firing out, but didn't get behind the throw. You could see how hard and how much he fell going towards third. Now, a catcher will do that somewhat, but not as much as he did on that throw.
Fouled off by Peguero.
Typically, when you do that, you end up throwing a sinker down to second base, and
turn
that's
your
what
wrist over.
Turn it over. Your shoulder flies open on you.
You'd like to have that movement on the mound, but not when you're trying to throw that extra 60-plus feet.
High drive, deep right field. Looking up, watching it leap the yard, a 2-run homer. Carlos Peguero ties it at 5-5. That's home run number 5. RBIs 11 and 12 for Big Peg. Wow, what a blast that was. Well over the big 390 sign. Eric Wedd's been saying, hey, just shorten up your swing. You can hit the ball to the moon.
Take a look at this swing. Short swing pitches down in the middle of the plate. 5th home run of the spring for Carlos. That leads the club. 5 home runs.
Catches barehanded.
Pretty impressive out there. What a
two-handed basket catch.
Two-handed basket catch by the dad. Souvenir.
5-5 game. Wells, base hit into center field. Casper Wells, his second hit today. 2 for 2, and he was hit by a pitch.
Looking at Chatwood's numbers, Jeff, 18 hits in the 12 innings he's pitched.
And this has been part of the problem.
It tells you he's in the middle of the plate a lot.
Yep, and that's why he did win that spot for the spot in the rotation. And high ERA coming into the game, and he's fallen behind too many hitters. And it goes back to, I don't care what kind of stuff you have. It's if you work ahead, you'll be successful. If you don't, you're going to get hit.
Jaso to left field. Gonzalez is there for the catch. Mike, where's that at bat? And we've seen Peguero. He just hit some monster shots. But where's that at bat compared to some of the other ones you've seen from Peguero this season?
Well, that at bat is a tough one to judge because Carlos has always handled the ball that is down and out over the plate. Where he gets into trouble is when they start to crowd him with the fastball. And if he can lay off some breaking balls, which at times we've seen him do this spring, I think that's a big step forward for him because he gets so worried about getting jammed up that he cheats, and all of a sudden they start dropping a breaking ball or a good changeup down, and he swings over the top of it. That pitch, the fastball, middle away and down is a pitch that he will hammer all day long. That hasn't changed for him, like most left-handed hitters will.
Big man. 6'4", 245 as Kawasaki stands in his fourth plate appearance. He's 1 for 3. Mariners have battled back a 4 spot here in the 5th after Colorado scored 3 times, aided and abetted by some bad play by the Mariners in the home 4th. 5 runs on 10 hits now for the Mariners, 3 errors. 5 runs on 7 hits and an error for Colorado. Kawasaki 1-1. Kawasaki is the 8th hitter. George Sherrill, we'll see him. He's been under the weather last few days. Kawasaki gets into one. That's in the gap. Mariners are going to get a lead here. Wells is in motion. Getting a big wave on Kawasaki, flying 2. Wells scores. It's 6-5 Mariners. An RBI triple for Muniori. Kawasaki, 6-5 Mariners. Ramone, his 13th RBI. And they're lighting up Tyler Chatwood.
Well, this is one of the things that Jeff talked about at the start of the game with how hot Kawasaki has been. See him flip the ball in the left field a few times, and then he finally turns on a fastball in the right center. So he's showing an ability to turn on the ball when he needs to, and once it gets through the outfield, that's a triple all day long for him.
Nori Kawasaki. Here's Ackley, 9th man, to swing the bat here in the 5th inning. For Mune, that is his first triple in the spring.
Not only falling behind for Chatwood, a lot of pitches up.
And a pitch to Kawasaki again, middle of the plate, right belt time, maybe a little above the belt.
Hitters at this level, their eyes light up when they see that.
Way upstairs.
Come down, come up.
That was hit number 11 for the Mariners.
Sixth this inning.
2-2 to Ackley. Ground ball to the second baseman Herrera. He'll throw at Ackley. But the Mariners get it done in the 5th. 4 runs on 6 hits. 2-run blast by Carlos Peguero. And the Mariners lead for the first time today. Heck of a catch out in the outfield. 6-5 Seattle. Monster home run, highlighting a 4-run 5th inning for the Mariners. 6 hits. And in that inning, yes, they did. The Mariners hit for the cycle in that inning. Home run Peguero, triple for Kawasaki, double Saunders, double Seager, and a base hit for Liddy.
Offensively, might have been the best inning we've seen this spring, Dave, as far as the amount of baseballs that were hit hard. You think about the doubles from Seager and Saunders, both of them off the batter's eye, dead center field. And Kawasaki hits a bullet in the gap, and, of course, the home run by Peguero. Take a look at George Sherrill in his spring. 4 games for him so far, 4 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks. George will get an inning's worth of work.
This could be one of those real important appearances, Mike.
Yeah, I think you're right. Trying to make some decisions on that last left-hander out in the bullpen. George in the mix. Charlie Furbish out there. Lidke's out there.
Rocky saw George Sherrill when he was with the Dodgers after he came over from the Baltimore Orioles. And struggled with the Dodgers.
Fowler switch hitter. Swinging right-handed against Sherrill.
Right-handed is Dexter's natural side. Learned how to switch hit when he got into pro ball.
Fly ball, right field. Pretty good carry. Backs up Peguero, 1 out.
Well, fans, you can follow ML, your favorite team, on your phone with MLB.com at Bat 2011. It features spring training updates, which is only for a couple more days, but then you can get ready for the regular season. Text at Bat to 31826. Or go to ColoradoRockies.com for more information. But get the app. I have it on my phone. It is a lifesaver.
It is one of the many great inventions we've lived through, Mr. Houston.
Yeah.
Strike 1 to Carlos Gonzalez. 1 for 2 today. George seems like he's more pronounced in that with his back, presenting his back to you before he goes into his set. We talked about that with Vargas, Felix Hernandez.
Yeah, they kind of rotate that way when they get started. He starts with his back to the hitter. And more than anything, just trying to hide the baseball from the left-handers. And talking about George trying to make this club as one of the left-handed relievers out in the bullpen. And what Eric Wedge will to keep an eye on is how he does against the left-handed hitters. He's going up against one of the better ones here in Gonzalez.
The Rockies have a similar situation in their bullpen with Matt Reynolds. And Matt last year struggled left on left. And he's a guy that when you come out of the pen, you need to count on, hey, there's 2 or 3 strong left-handers. Can you get them out?
Breaking ball hit to left field. Backing up Wells. He's on the track and makes a catch. 2 outs. A couple of changes for the Mariners in the infield. Seager's gone from 3rd to 2nd. Ackley's out of the game. I believe that's Francisco Martinez down at 3rd. You liking that St. Louis game last week? They made a last second edition. Guy got the 3rd. They Chiron, the minor league guy.
No.
Here's Dyer up high. Ball 1. Dyer scored twice. 1 for 2.
Well, it is difficult for everybody sometimes in spring training, but that's where the PR department is so big to give you the names and numbers and give you some help.
Oh, strike poured in there by Sherrill. George is 2-1 to Michael Kadai. Way outside, 3-1. Playing Kadire straight away. And he lost it. 2-out walk. Going to bring up Todd Helton. Well, here's a test. You want to see if he can do against left-handers.
Well, you had Carlos Gonzalez. You're getting Todd Helton. And if he reaches, you would have Giambi to follow.
Safely. Helton in the company of Jimmy XX Fox, Gehrig, Hornsby, Musial, Pujols, Ruth, and Williams. In that category of hitting better than 320, 400 on base, and 550 slug. Elite, elite, elite.
Yeah, when you're talking Gehrig, Fox, that's some nice company to be with, Mike.
Well, and you're talking about a 320 average career, and your career spans 15 years. There you go. 302 against lefties, 331 against right-handers.
The media guide.
Well, when he hangs him up, somewhere around your ballpark, there's going to be a statue of this guy.
Yeah, and he'll be the first player in Rockies history, I believe, that will have his number retired.
Oh, yeah. HOF, too. Good pitch.
That was the best fastball we've seen from George Sherrill. That one at 87 miles an hour.
One. Paint job. Todd didn't like it. Six-5 Mariner lead. They took the lead. Top half of this inning. Pitch.
Good pitch from George. A couple of fastballs away from Todd. Comes back, just misses the inside corner.
Big sweeping curveball now.
I would think so.
2-2. Fastball beat him. So a good test at pass by George Sherrill as he strikes out Todd Helton. Sixth inning coming up. Mariners lead it 6-5. uninjured scenes here in the greater Phoenix area, where the Mariners hold a 6-5 lead over the Rockies. These two teams will be at it again tomorrow. On the Mariners side, we'll be on the Mariners radio network as we come to you from Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Mariners had an outstanding 5th inning. 4 runs on 6 hits. 9 men to the plate. Here's a guy that started it last inning, Kyle Seager, with a double straightaway center off the batter's eye. Seager today 1 for 3 and a run scored. So now to play. Tyler Chatwood, the second pitcher today for the Rockies. Kyle Seager certainly made himself a terrific asset for manager Eric Wedge and the coaching staff.
I think starting the season, he's going to get to play a lot at third base, Dave. I think with Carp being down and Gutierrez, I think we're going to see Figgins quite a bit in left field. So that'll open up third base for Kyle to get some at-bats.
You always hate for somebody to be injured, but when somebody is, it's an opportunity for somebody else.
That's it.
It's just the nature of sports.
Next man up. 2-2 pitch. So it hit pretty well to right center field and deep. Big carry and lost it in the sun. Seager, he's motoring. He's going to get the third. So Kyle Seager drives another one. This one off the fence, right center field. He is getting the barrel to the ball consistently.
Well, I think it goes back to what he was talking about in his interview, and that was trying to drive the baseball. He's always done that. He can hang out line drives. And if you look at his minor league numbers and then you look at what he did the second half of the season when he was getting some consistent playing time, that's what he was doing. But now he's driving it, showing some power. When he hits the ball in the air, he's getting a lot more carry out of it.
Tyler Colvin out there couldn't make the play. And how about Miguel Olivo going right side, picking up an RBI? Mariners make it 7-5. Olivo's 8th RBI of the spring. His first hit today is 1 for 4. Let's go down to Jenny, who's standing by with Michael Kadire.
Yeah, thanks very much. Your first season here with the Rockies, we were just talking about your switch from the American League to the National League and the ballpark here, the facilities. How was your overall spring and your time here?
Oh, it's been great. For me, spring was getting to know a lot of the guys, getting used to putting the uniform back on, and that was the first few weeks. I was about a month into it. Now the last 2 weeks, the opening days in sight, you're trying to get everything in tune, and now these last 2 days, you're just trying to stay healthy.
And being healthy, having your hand healed, the swelling's gone down. How'd you feel playing today since you haven't played in a couple days?
No, it was good. It was good. I was a little sluggish at first, but the hand felt great, which was the main thing, most important, and felt good to get some swings out there again and run around.
What do you feel is going to be the hardest transition for you to go from the American League to the National League?
I think not facing a lot of the pitchers, not having a track record with a lot of the guys in the league, and I'm going to have to lean heavily on guys like Tulo and other right-handed hitters that have been in the league that will be able to help me out with scouting reports and things of that nature.
All right, Michael, thanks so much for your time. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
So Jared Burgess, the base hit, broken bat for his troubles. Jenny, thank you, and thank you, Michael. About that.
Bat went twice as far as the ball.
Chatwood's thinking to himself, what do I have to do? He's giving up some line drives, and he finally throws a saw blade up there. And ball barely has enough steam on it to roll past the mound and ends up being a base hit.
Hey, ground ball, come on. Put him in for 2. Put him in the lane.
Here's Alex Liddy. It's a pitch outside. First and second for the Mariners. Nobody out. A run in.
Chris Nelson now has come out and replaced Marco Scudero at shortstop. Left side with Pacheco's the same. Brandon Wood over at first base, giving Todd Helton the rest of the day off. Eric Young Jr. in left field. Carlos is done. We saw Tyler Colvin a moment ago. He is out in center field, taking over for Dexter Fowler.
Let's see what happens here. Nice range to make the catch. So Herrera makes a nice catch out there for out number one. Here's Peguero, last time up, 2-run homer. Deep right center field.
And he gets a fastball down and in the middle of the plate. Just golfs it out to right center field as Bam makes a fine basket catch.
Runners at first and second.
Yeah, that spot for Peguero is almost like when you're throwing to a kid and you say, okay, where do you want it? And he puts his bat right in front of the plate. I'd like it right here. And that's where that pitch was, down. And golf was an apropos way to say it because it went down to get it and then finish high.
It doesn't require a lot of effort to get the barrel to that pitch.
Base hit, left field. Coming around as a lead. Oh, he's going to score easily. RBI Peguero, 8-5 Mariners. So Peguero has picked up 3 RBIs in his last 2 at-bats.
Another good sign of Peguero and all the work that he's put in this spring after hitting the home run to right field. He goes the other way with a fastball that is down and away from him and hits it hard into left field. I know people will ask Eric Wedge about the home run. Peguero leading the club in home runs this spring, but I guarantee you he'll talk about that base hit.
Wells is having a fine day. RBI double. A base hit in the 5th and a run scored. In between, he was hit by a pitch.
Hey, ground ball. Come on, Chap.
Sixth hitter in the inning for the Mariners. Oh, 1-2. Burgess at second, Peguero at first. Wells is struck out. 2 outs. And that'll bring up John Jaso. 0 for 2 with a walk. First strikeout for Chatwood. Pitch is on the outside corner for a strike.
One of the few batters that he's been ahead in the count, 0-1.
Fouls off an off-speed pitch, 0-2. Mariners are on in the 2nd, 4 in the 5th, 2 more here in the 6th. 8-5 lead. They've banged out 15 hits. Couldn't ask for a better setting here. 75 degrees. Light breeze. Very, very comfortable here at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick.
And the people in Denver woke up to snow and slush this morning.
Will it be gone tomorrow?
Get him right here. Probably.
I know
Yeah, probably, yeah.
You guys have those those wide variances there. You get used to it, right?
Yes, you do.
2-2.
Watch it.
Runners at first and second. 2 outs and a 2-2 count coming here to John Jaso. And he struck out. Jaso is surprised. He saw the runners on the move. He's disbelieving the Barry Larson call, but he's done, and so are the Mariners in the 6th. They've extended the lead here against the Rockies. Stick the site for Mariners and Rockies. Mariners lead it. Let's go down to Brett Adams standing by with Michael Saunders.
Dave, thank you very much. I had to find a player tall enough that we can see him over the railings. Michael Saunders fits. I don't know if I do, though, so I'm going to try to sneak up here. So we're down here Sunday. We don't see it till today. Well, what's this excuse about you being sick?
Oh, I don't know, man.
You're not avoiding us, are you?
I'm trying to get out of there. Yeah, I don't want to see Brad. Come on. Yeah, no, I missed you, man. I would never do that to you. Come on. So,
are we okay now?
We're feeling better. We're starting to feel better. We're turning the page.
Good. And the guys up in the booth took a look at your double to dead center. Said it's about 430. How's that just a double? Shouldn't that be a home run?
I hope so. That's all I got, man. So I hope so.
Regular season, it'll be a home run. I was talking to Kyle Seeger yesterday about, he's saying the young core that you guys have played a lot in the minors together, know each other's games very well, had some success last year. Kind of a different feeling as you guys go into this season. The confidence level seems to be higher. You guys seem more comfortable at this level?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really think that experience at the big league level is invaluable. And, we certainly have a young group of guys, but we don't consider ourselves that. On paper and in age, we are young, but we kind of forget about that once we get it between the lines. And there's a lot of talent in this club. And, I think once we get all 9 guys on the field doing it at the same time, we're going to be dangerous. I think we're really going to surprise some guys and surprise some people. And I think it's going to start with the offense. We've always been able to pitch. We've always been able to play defense. I honestly think we're second to none when it comes to that. And we all know that we do need to turn a page offensively to start winning some ball games. And we came into spring training exuding confidence. We're ready for this year, and I think we're really going to surprise people.
Well, the surprise hopefully starts Friday against Oakland. Is it me, or does it seem like he has to play Oakland every single day this year?
You know, for the last 3 years, that's the way I've felt, honestly.
Open there again, yeah?
Yeah, exactly, but it just means we get to finish at home, which is nice. So.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you go, and I'll try to stand up here a little bit, make it a little more height even as we go back up to the booth there. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, fellas. Got Ramon Hernandez facing Brandon League as Mariner fans get a late afternoon BLT.
Numbers for Brandon League. He's pitched well. Pitched in 5 games so far. Only 5 innings pitched for him. Probably had some work on the backfields, and doesn't take much for the closers to get ready. When he's cruising along, his fastball will be about 97 miles an hour. Great split, and last year he started throwing a slider towards the end of the year. I think that'll be an effective pitch against the right-handed hitters.
That's all those guys need to throw 97.
97, 91 mile an hour slider. 84 split that drops off the table.
Well, I just hope he throws me one on the plate somewhere. Because you can't go up there looking for all 3.
Well, and that's something that I thought that he did last year where he really turned a corner. They were looking for somebody to close, and they gave Brandon Lee the opportunity. He'd struggled through a short period of time. And the difference for me is he came out and threw his fastball at 97 first pitch, down the middle of the plate, strike one, and then it was over. Because after that, you were in big trouble. And hitters try to take that pitch or fouling it off. It's a difficult guy to try to handle.
And so many times late in a ball game, what are we taught as hitters to go up there? If your team is trailing by a run or two, take a pitch. Take 2, you get a strike. Well, here's the first pitch. It might be the only pitch you get.
Right.
And if guys are taking that strike one, he throws first pitch strike. You're sitting 0-1. You're done.
And there's 2 things that happen there. One, he has to understand that, and 2, have the ability to throw a strike.
Throw down to first. Giambi walked. They get a pinch runner in for him.
David Hernandez.
Oh, 0-1 to Pacheco. One and one. Throw over to first. Let's check in with Jenny. She's got Jason Giambi.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, going into your 18th Major League season, how has your approach changed over the course of the years? As you get older, it seems like you don't want to compromise your workouts because you have a strong work ethic, but how do you kind of minimize them so that you're still ready for a full season?
Well, you just got to remember, to get your work in, but you can't do it as long. And Jim Tracy does such a great job of using, like myself and Todd, who are older players, or he doesn't abuse us, where he gets us ready for the season because he knows we know what it takes to get ready.
Now, this season, a lot of emphasis has been put on the clubhouse and having the older guys really be the leaders, really step up. What kind of role have you taken? I know that some of the younger guys worked out with you in the offseason.
Well, I just try to mentor a lot of the younger players and teach them how to play the game. I believe that's how the game gets passed on. I had guys like McGuire and Carney Lansford and Ricky Henderson teach me the game, and that's what you try to do for the younger players, try to speed up their learning curve and get them ready, for a long Major League career.
This year, not the oldest up there. Is that kind of nice to have Jamie Moyer, age 49, sitting above you?
Yeah, that's great. I get to make jokes now. He goes to dinner early bird specials and using his ARP card, and so it's great. But, I've known Jamie for a long time, so it's great to have him here to help Tulich, these young pitchers, and he's done a great job. And I'll tell you, the guy that's really benefited is Rosario. He's been catching him a lot, so he's really learned a lot about the game.
I was going to say, I see Jamie Moyer sitting here in the dugout with individual players. We was kind of joking with my producer that perhaps it's 15-minute increments. Every guy has to come through Jamie Moyer's office. But do you really see him as almost an additional coach this year?
Oh, for sure. You know, he's one of the guys that I think when they see Jamie, he knows himself as a player. He knows he doesn't throw 95 miles an hour, and he's honed his craft, and he has that great work ethic. Even though he's 49, I mean, he's still out there doing the same drills we are. And when you start looking at that guy, how can these young kids say, I can't do this or I shouldn't do this, when he's going out there getting guys out and not throwing very hard?
All right, thanks so much, Jason. The cool trend this year with the Rockies, the Salt and Pepper Club, and you're part of it.
For sure. Thank you.
All right, Dave, we'll send it back to you.
Hey, good to have this age group represented. Thank you. G-Man, that's good stuff. Boy, he can run down. That's a good group of guys that were his mentors back when he was coming up with the A's.
Yeah, and then also passing along his knowledge to other guys.
Pacheco works another walk, so league not sharp today. He's got a walk, a strikeout, and a walk.
We saw it with Tom Wilhelmsen and now Brandon. Probably some tough games for these guys to try to get themselves ready. And it's not that they're not making the effort, but mentally you're just not quite as sharp as maybe they were before they started the season, knowing that they're going to get it going again on Friday, I think.
Well, and their target date was 4 or 5 days
last
prior
week
to this.
Yeah.
That was when they were, I need to be ready to go that day.
Mm-hmm. Not the same adrenaline situation at all. Here's Herrera, strikeout looking, an RBI ground out today. Foul ball. Nice scoop there by Liddy. And you hear interviews with relievers and closers rather. And this is typical, obviously, as we talked about before. You get your closer in now, but man, they don't run on the same adrenaline at this stage. You know, in an 8-5 game, we're in the home sixth. It's
like when you really want a cup of caffeinated coffee and you get the decaf, and that's where they're going.
Oh, where's that kick?
Yeah, I need that extra boost.
And that's why I know when things get started this weekend for the guys and Brandon comes into a game, he's 94, 95. We saw him at times last year touching 100.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
And you know, that little bit of adrenaline does it for you as opposed to getting here and getting your work in like he should. But the bad part about it is Eric Wedge is sitting over there, and he probably would like to see Brandon go out and throw 14 or 15 pitches and not get up over 20 somewhere.
We have a game on Friday. Hello.
Yeah.
Especially if he was thinking about using him back-to-back days and using him again tomorrow.
High ball center field. Fighting the sun off the glove. And the Mariners' new center fielder. That'll get 2 runners. They're coming back-to-back. This looks like Carlton Fisk against the Yankees a few years ago. They both scored. Carlton Fisk, remember that? He was at home. Was it Bobby Meacham? And I can't remember that. Dale Barrett. They were in the same play, scoring. They were in the bases, and they were thrown out at the plate.
Well, Jordan Pacheco is a step past second base when this ball goes off the center fielder's glove. Tough, son. Reach up, try to block it out. Head first and a feet first slide into home.
Wow. So a couple of RBIs picked up by Herrera. An 8-7 ball game. Carl Willis out for a quick talk. So Burgess had a tough go out there in center field.
First at bat today for Chris Nelson. Came in last inning for Scudero.
First pitch to Chris. Ball 1. Levo. As a getaway. Runner to third. Wild pitch. And a count 2-0 to Chris Nelson. Pretty standard ingredients for one of your remaining penultimate spring training games. You see this. Infield in. There's a strike.
Come on, Nels. Here we go. Let's go. Come on.
Well, again, you have the veteran guys that are ready to go and just getting work in and probably mentally not where they need to be. And then you have a bunch of young guys, kids, some of them from A-ball, and they're going to make mistakes, which you would expect.
There's a rocket into the gap. Ties the score at 8-8. All the way to the fence. Nelson digging for 3, and he's going to get there safely. RBI triple. Chris Nelson ties it at 8-8. Good wheels.
Yeah, and a pitch that's inside thigh high for Chris Nelson, maybe at the knees, and top spin with heavy top spin, carries to the wall, and slight bobble in center field, but it didn't matter. Chris was going 3 the whole way.
Absolutely. Eric Wedge going to get his closer out of there. So Brandon League faces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batters. Gives up a double and a triple. And the score is tied. Charlie Furbush takes over. Youngster, get him moving to the music. Why not? Here at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Pitching change for the Mariners. Charlie Furbush takes over.
Charlie also trying to make this club as a lefty out of the bullpen. He's pitched well this spring. ERA to 1.17. Walks just the 1. That's a big number for him. I always thought that Charlie, he can be tough on left-handed hitters. He will get down a little more sidearm at times. Has a good enough fastball to keep the left-handers honest as far as staying off of his slider. A different angle. What do you think, Jeff? Charlie's definitely a guy you would have bunted off of. I know that.
Oh, yeah. I tried to pull one right past him.
Yeah, exactly right.
I don't stand a chance trying to hit him, so I'm going to bunt off him.
Drop down lefty. Yeah. Good time for a bunt.
I might even try it with the infield in.
I hear you. Tyler Colvin. How many nightmare guys did you face like that? Lefties coming at you hard.
Well, I'm not sure. Hard. Tony Fawcett.
Oh, yeah.
Tony?
Sure. Pitched forever.
Yep. He was the one that he just stayed around for left on left.
Yeah.
All those years.
Yeah, he pitched till he's, 44, 45 easy, right?
Yeah. Because you just have to get one guy out, that one left-hander.
We don't feel bad about that one. I watched Ken Griffey Jr. drop a bunt on him in Fenway one day for that exact reason. Yeah.
Yep. You tip your cap to him. He figured it out.
I can see Junior grinning at first base right now, too.
Jesse Orozco is another name that comes to mind. More of a hard-throwing left-hander, though, in that role.
2-1.
Boy, Tyler. Something you can handle, kid. Come on.
Not a good start here for Charlie. One out, lead run at third. Back up this way. Tony Fasas, YankeeBaseballReference.com, pitched till he was 41 years old with the Yankees. This is last year, 5 games in 1999.
That's the boy, Tyler.
The Colvin works a walk. Runners at the corners. 3 runs already in. There's Eric Young Jr.
Now Eric Young Jr. might be a guy that would drop down the bunt.
Anyway.
1 out, runners at the corners.
All right, go.
Good bunter.
Yes, he is. And he uses it, too.
Good idea, kid.
And he can take it down third base or push it past the pitcher.
I think push bunt from right-handers can be a very exciting play. I mean, somebody, has got the really good back control and the great wheels.
Yes, because in that instance, now he won't do it 0-2, but you hold your bat there, let the ball hit that bat solid, push it past the third, the pitcher, and it's a race to first.
Oh, 0-2 to Eric Young Jr. 2 on. Rockies have scored 3 times here in the 6th to tie it at 8-8.
Boy.
Furbush, the 5th Mariner pitcher this afternoon.
Back.
All fastball so far. He's going to try to throw a slider at his back foot here.
As a runner at first, you anticipate a ball in the dirt, especially with the runner on third base. So the minute you see if the catcher drops to his knees, you can take off, because his primary responsibility is keeping the base runner at third from scoring.
Runner goes, getting picked off. Throw to shortstop to the second baseman. They get him at second. Run scores. And the Rockies take the lead at 9-8.
And that was a design play. Go first movement. If they pick, so what? You keep going. And as the runner on third and Chris Nelson, you keep your momentum going towards home. And as soon as Alex releases the ball, you can take off.
He did go, and Young is gone. But the Rockies take the lead. It's a 9-8 ball game now with Colorado on top. Mariners now on the short end. 9-8 Colorado after the Rockies put up 4 in the 6th. And that design play, Jeff, worked out really well. Got him the lead run.
Well, you work on a lot of different plays during spring training that who knows whenever you're going to be able to use them throughout the course of a season. But you want to do all this work and see it pay off, and then last half inning it did for the Rockies. And now you'll, much like what Seattle had last half inning with League, you got Rafael Betancourt, the closer for the Rockies, to come into this ball game. And a high ERA, it's one outing that killed them, and that can happen down in spring training. And his last 2 outings have been better, more Rafael Betancourt-like, where he's throwing strikes and working ahead in the count. Let's see that 68 games, a lot in the second half was as the closer for the Rockies, and part of the reason why they traded Houston Street this past winter.
Betancourt went from, a setup guy in Cleveland to a closer with you guys, right?
Yeah, well, he set up for a couple years prior to being the closer. And that's when, you know how it is in this game, you have to have the 7th and 8th inning guys to hold the fort. Because it doesn't do you any good to have a great closer if you can't get to him.
You can't get to him, that's exactly right. That's really where Brandon Lee, the closer for the Mariners, he emerged as that. As he was a setup guy, and when they needed a closer, he just stepped right in there and took the job and ran with it.
Rafi is still the same pitcher. He's fastball slider, but 75-80% of the time it's fastball down and away, hit the corner.
He's around 90, right? His fastball around 90, 91?
90, 91, 92. But it's all about the location, and he doesn't walk guys. believe last year his ratio was 80 strikeouts and only 8 walks.
Ketel Marte for the Mariners. 1-2. Rowan Rosario doing some catching now. All 2 strikes. Strike 3 called. Let's check in with Jenny, see who she has as an interview guest.
Well, I'll just interview myself right now, Dave. No, we want to talk a little bit about how the Rockies starting rotation is going to set up in addition to the bullpen. With Jamie Moyer not going on the 25-man roster until Saturday when he makes the start, that means 8 guys are going to be starting in the bullpen. And, this was kind of, in terms of the starting rotation, one of the bigger questions for the Rockies heading into their spring training. It sets up with Jeremy Guthrie getting that opening day start. Again, Moyer following. Juan Nicasio, who started today, he will be pitching third. Yolis Chacin, that'll leave him for the home opener. And then Drew Pomerantz, he's going to get 1 start at the minor league level before they call him up on April 15th. So the Rockies going with a 4-man rotation that'll last for the first few series of the season. Guys?
All right, Jenny, thank you. Brian Brito swings through. 1-1. Brito batting in the 2-hole vacated by Ackley.
What?
1-2. Kyle Seager's on deck. Seager's doubled his last 2 times up. Boy, he hit the target beautifully there. Strikes out Brito, 2 down.
And that's what he does. He's just able to hit his locations down and away. It's a signature pitch for Raphael.
Well, good test here for Seager against a veteran in Betancourt. Doubled off the wall in the 5th, tripled in the 6th. Skips up there. Betancourt started in the pros in '97, got to the Cleveland Indians in '03, and was with the Tribe from '03 through '09, and then traded during that season here to the Colorado Rockies.
Like a few guys prior to him and after him, he was a shortstop breaking into pro ball.
Took something off of that one. Nice changeup. Betancourt, a big guy at 6'2", 220.
Pretty wise move to move from short to the hill.
When you can throw strikes the way that he does.
Seager does a good job to fight that one off. 1-2. Mariners had a tremendous offensive explosion in innings number 5 and 6. Those 2 innings, they combined for 7 runs on 10 hits.
The majority of that damage was done off of Tyler Chatwood.
And his ERA took a beating today. One hop to the shortstop. And throwing him out is Chris Nelson. 1-2-3 go the Mariners in the 7th. Rockies turn away Seattle there and continue to lead 9-8. Bank game summary here at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Resmo Ramirez started for the Mariners. 3 innings, a 4-hit ball. On Nicasio, 4 1/3 for the Rockies. How about Peguero goes deep, a 2-run homer. The Mariners stay a little bit sloppy in the field. Make that a lot bit sloppy in the field with 5 errors. Dave Sims, Jeff Houston, Mike Blowers, as we enjoy the 7th inning stretch. Guillermo Quiros now catching for the Mariners. Charlie Furbush will start this inning. Came in, faced a couple of batters, gave up a run last inning. Here's a pitch fouled off.
Juan Crosset, who had taken over for Michael Kadire, receiving his first at bat today.
Saw Crosset. He got a double in yesterday's game over in Peoria.
Drive to left center field.
Now battling one. Come on, kid.
Let's check in with Brad Adam.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. A guy who was singing along with that 7th inning stretch, Dustin Ackley, a pretty nice voice, too. Where'd you get that?
Actually, I really don't have one. I think I proved that last year on Intentional Talk. So, yeah, not much of a voice here.
But you haven't played. This is the first time we've seen you since coming back from Japan. I mean, are you getting closer to 100%?
Yeah, I think so. I think my body, I lost a couple pounds with the sickness I had, but I've been able to eat pretty good today and hopefully gain a couple back before the start.
A lot of fluids today, too. I know, so Rob telling everybody, lots of fluids today. Hey, this is going to be your first. You played so well last year and played so much last year. No surprise you're obviously making your opening day roster. But the first time for you, I mean, is that still kind of a big deal? Does that mean something to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to have a fresh start in the major leagues, I mean, I think that's what everybody wishes for, to start the year with a team. And I think I'm excited to get going.
What was this offseason like for you? I mean, again, I mentioned the success you had last year, but what did you work on? What did you learn from that experience last year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was just prepare my body physically. I think last year I kind of fell off towards the end. I felt fatigued a little bit, so I think that was one thing I was working just on my body and preparing for a long season.
Anything else big happen this offseason?
Yeah, a lot of big things, wedding, honeymoon, moving into a new house.
Not much.
Yeah, not a lot at all. Yeah, so
stress-free for you.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a great off season. Good to get in the house. Good to get married, and I think next off season will be even better.
Did you have a say in any of the planning?
No, I didn't want to say in it. Yeah,
smart.
I didn't want any part of it. I just wanted to be there.
Well, you're there. We're glad you're here as well. Look forward to watching you all season long again, starting Friday with those dreaded Oakland A's once again. Guys, back up to you.
A wise young man.
I would agree. I thought it was interesting talking about his body because his numbers showed that too. You go back and look at where he went. He was just cruising along and making the game look easy. And last few weeks, 2-3 weeks, he struggled. And you have to go through it. A lot of times, I mean, he's used to being done with baseball by the time September 1st rolls around. He had to play through the month of September, and his first time doing that, so hopefully he's better prepared this year.
Popped up, left field, off the bat of Wood. Wells is there for out number 2.
Hey, well, we got a quick moment. I need to give a shout out to my son Kyle. He lives up in Wenatchee, Washington, over in the Columbia Valley, over by Leavenworth, and he's been playing junior hockey over there with the Wenatchee Wild, and they start the playoffs this Thursday night. So I know he's watching up en route up in the Northwest. So go get him, bud.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
It's a beautiful area over there.
Yes, sir.
I've been up there quite a few times watching, and it's fun.
You get nuts watching them sitting at hockey games?
Yeah, hockey, baseball, it doesn't matter. I remember my mom saying the same thing when I was playing. And I'm like, Mom, relax, I got it covered. But now I'm just the way, it's. I had control over it, and now you don't.
Right. To left field, Wells tracked it immediately. And we will take a break here after that 1-2-3 7th, 8th inning coming up with the Mariners down a run, 9-8 to the Rockies. This guy's just having too much fun. Roll down that berm. That's beautiful. 9-8 Rockies.
Ouch. Those out of the way.
Yeah,
peanut shells. How is it that kids can roll down the hill and not get dizzy? And I would go time and
medic.
Help.
Matt Belisle takes over.
Oh, and Matt, last year for me was the MVP of that bullpen. Because he could be the bridge guy. He could throw the 6th and 7th inning. He could be the 8th inning guy. He closed 2 or 3 different times. And he is going to do the same thing this year.
Guillermo Quiros, the hitter. Batting in a 4-hole, vacated by Miguel Olivo. That's a heck of a roll at Belisle.
Well, it's not an easy one.
Ooh, man, not
because
at all.
How many times do we hear, I need to know what my role is down in the bullpen? All the time. But Matt says, give me the ball when you think you need me to get a guy out.
Guys like that worth his weight in gold.
Yes. One less headache for the manager.
Right field. And the catch made out there by Crusette.
For those of you who are watching in the Rocky Mountain region, Rockies All Access is back with a new episode this Saturday night after the ball game. And take a look at the changing culture in the clubhouse, and as we visit with Dan O'Dowd and the new additions to the Rockies roster. Tune in after the game on Saturday right here on Root Sports.
One out. Jared Burgess. Nice looking pitch there by Matt Belisle. That's at Austin, Texas. Born and still lives there.
That's the boy.
6'4", 225.
Country strong.
Yeah. 32 years old.
Looks like he's
June
good
6th.
slider.
He does. Very good slider, sharp and late.
Try. How many, B? Hang back there.
Popped up. Playable. Nice job by Rosario to make the catch. One thing I look about minor league ball, spring training ball. You come to the different ballparks, you hear the different voices of the various either some of the coaches, a couple of the fans who are regulars, and you have some of the guys who are the real chatty types. You hear them. We have them over at Peoria. Yeah, Mooney. But players, but I'm talking about players, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you get some coaches, and then you get a couple spectators, and you mix them all in. I've been hearing.
Yeah, a lot of Jim Tracy down there. Tom Runnels has been another guy that we've heard quite a bit on our field mics.
I've heard Robbie Thompson a couple of times on from the Mariners side, too.
Well, it's stuff that you don't hear as often in a Major League ballpark because you have more people or just
the mics
more,
are taken down a little bit.
Yeah, you lower the level. But it goes back to me, the ambiance of spring training, how you can get so close to the ball players. It's more of a relaxed atmosphere for most of the guys.
0-2 to Liddy.
I tell people that all the time, if especially the ones that are real baseball fans, love the game and watch all the time. If you can do it, you need to come down here and watch spring training and get a chance to go out early when the guys are working out. Because over in Peoria, you can walk out to the backfields and literally stand right next to them and hear everything that is going on and watch them and see what they're doing. It's a pretty neat experience.
It's nice to get that close to see how hard they hit the ball or how hard they're throwing and all those things.
Yeah.
And not just if you can do it for a week, that's great, but it's at least 3 or 4 days.
1-2 to Liddy. A couple of runs scored today for Alex. Lights off another one.
Come on, Manny, get him here. Trust him. Come on.
2-2 with 2 outs, nobody on. 1-run lead by the Rockies, 9-8. Teams have combined for 17 runs, 23 hits, and 6 errors.
Don't get lazy now. Come on.
Full count to Liddy.
Tommy Runnels a moment ago. Don't get lazy. He was talking to Wolene Rosario. Even though there's nobody on, don't get into bad habits.
Popped up. Harris, the second baseman's there. Whoa, boy. He wins that battle. Wasn't pretty. Gets the job done. 1-2-3 go the Mariners in the 8th. 9-8 Rockies. Here at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Here's Jenny now with Jordan Pacheco.
That's right, Dave. Thanks. Utility player, and all that word describes you to a T. You can catch, you can play third, you can play first. You played some second last year. What was your focus? We talked about it a little bit earlier in the broadcast, but really, how did you take on your day-to-day and that overwhelming task of having so many positions to play?
Last year, it was just day by day. I knew I was going to be in the lineup every day, so they kind of told me, gave me leeway and said, just play hard. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. So it's a lot easier to play when you got people telling you that.
We found out today that you can run too. In fact, you can almost pass the guy in front of you. What was going on out there?
There was one out, and he was going back to tag, and I was supposed to go halfway. So we were both on the base together, and then it just ended up the guy dropped the ball, so both of us had to score.
That's just how things go. I think you're probably going to end up playing third a lot, it sounds like, from Jim Tracy, at least to start the season. What did you learn from a veteran like Casey Blake before he was let go from this team? I saw you guys interact a lot as you were out there.
Yeah, Casey's an awesome guy. He's a great ball player. I mean, he's been around for a long time, and you got to pick a guy's brain who's been here forever, and just how do you stay here? How do you come in and play to the field every day and play hard? And I learned a lot from him. He gave me his phone number, so I can call him anytime I need some help.
That's nice to have Casey Blake on the hotline, right? Who else did you really kind of buddy up with, so to speak, in terms of veteran players in the clubhouse? Who did you feel most comfortable with getting advice from?
Blake was obviously one. Kadir's obviously another guy who's played multiple positions in his career, and he's been a utility guy. So those two guys I talk to a lot and just pick their brain and see how they do it.
All right, Jordan, thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck at the start of the season, guys.
Jenny and Jordan, thank you very much. Rosario really getting after it. He and Charlie Furbush. Bunch of foul balls during the interview.
Thought it was interesting them talking about go out and play and don't worry about making some mistakes. Ease your mind. So many players go out, especially ones that are unsure of themselves a little bit or not sure if they can play at this level. They make more mistakes because of that.
They play nervous or scared.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, though, it's easier said than done. Hey, just go out, play. But you have to. You have to let your natural athletic ability take over.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jeff, but it also helps when you have a manager or coaches that are willing to come to you. We had a similar situation last year in Seattle, and that was with Mike Karp. When he came back up the second time, Eric Wedge went to him and says, you're in the lineup every day. Don't worry about going 0 for 3. Go out and play. And he took off after that. And that really, I think, is a big step. And for a player, it means a lot.
Squibber.
Well, you're gonna have bad days. It happens.
Such is the nature of baseball.
It happens. So to have the ability to go 0 for 2 in a game, your first 2 at bats, but not looking over your shoulder, is he going to pinch hit for me? Oh, if I don't get a hit here, I'm not going to be in the lineup tomorrow.
You try harder,
You
squeezing.
squeeze the bat. But if you know that I went 0 for 4, I might not have had 4 good at bats today, but I'll be in there tomorrow and I'll fix it and I'll get my knocks tomorrow.
Good boy, Waleed.
2-2. There have been a couple of big innings here. A 3-run fourth for Colorado. Put up a 4 spot in the 6th. This one hammered left field. Wells plays it nicely.
Up, Brendan.
Brendan Harris, we saw him this time in Minnesota.
Brendan, just shy of 5 years of Major League service time. As you mentioned, a majority of that with the Minnesota Twins.
Charlie Furbush, 5th pitcher used today by the Mariners. That ball is shortstop. 2 down. That was Ketel Marte with a nice strong throw.
Strong arm.
Jonathan Herrera, strikeout looking, RBI ground out, and a 2-run double. Plus a run scored. Fouled into Quiros' glove.
Come on, Johnny.
0-2. Oh-2 pitch. Marte pull him off the bag. No, he did. Nice job by Liddy. Fine play by Ketel Marte. Nicely done. 9th inning. Here we go. Last stops for the Mariners. They trail 9-8. look familiar. You could say they're Oklahoma State or Oregon State. Who you got, Mike? I'm going to go with Oregon State.
I think so, too.
And Mariner fan, 9-8 Rockies. These fans have hung in here. This game started at 1:10 Pacific time. It's a one-run ball game. We've seen a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. It's spring training
some in
late.
between.
Here's Rex Brothers.
Rex will primarily be the setup man for Rafael Betancourt. Former supplemental pick, 2009. Hard thrower. And he will close on occasion along with Matt Belisle whenever Betancourt can't go that evening.
Well, if he likes to throw hard, here's a guy that likes to take some hacks at some fastballs, Carlos Peguero.
Well, it's always a fun matchup, though.
Big boy against big boy.
Well, here's my heat. Try to hit it if you can, and let's go.
Peguero, 3-hit day, including a 2-run homer. And yeah, that was rushed up there at 95. Peguero struck out looking, singled to right, a long 2-run homer to right, and a single to left.
This will test that short swing that they've been working on all spring training.
Sure will.
First fastball, 95 miles an hour.
Here's a strike. 1-1.
Not quite as hard as Billy Wagner, but the same style of throwing motion.
Mm-hmm. A lot bigger guy than Billy Wags. Ball and 2 strikes. Peguero with the home run, his 5th. 3 RBI day gives him 13. RBIs leading the club. It's going to find its way into center field. Another base hit. Peguero in his last 4 at-bats, single homer, single. 4 for 5 day.
And that one might have been the most impressive out of all of them, with the 95, 96 mile an hour fastball to come back and stay on the slider and not start your swing so quickly to cheat.
And if you notice, too, the slider, he started it at him and not to buckle, knowing a guy has 96 and hang in there and hit hard back up the middle. Again, we talked about Carlos staying short to the ball. That's having confidence right there to keep your hands back.
Another guy having a good day swinging the bat, Casper Wells. He's got a double and a single. Hit by a pitch as well. So 2 for 3 today for Casper Wells.
Up.
That's out of play. John Jaso's on deck, John, the DH this afternoon. There's John. Hey, right into the control booth and a nice clean catch, two-handed. Nicely done. Well done up there in the scoreboard booth. Wells with the 2 hits today gets over the Mendoza line. He's at 216 as we speak.
Nasty slider.
That really was. I mean, that was bearing down on him hard.
And against the location of it, starts in the strike zone. Guys throwing 95 miles an hour. You don't have much time. And see how far out in front he was. He throws that slider at his back foot.
Disappearing slider.
Mm-hmm.
Jaso looks at a strike. Was called out on strikes his last time up. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. That's a pretty good looking arms coming out of back end of this pen.
A lot of power coming out. And that's, I've thought about it and talked about it and talked to a number of scouts that you have to have power coming in out of the pen. If you have a guy that's a pitch to contact guy, that's not going to work.
Ball still flying out of your yard too?
No, not as much.
I know
not as much because of the humidor.
When we went there, I think that was the last time we saw you in regular season. You had just introduced the humidor.
And I believe, and I'll double check it, but we weren't even in the top 6 or 7 as far as ballpark home runs last year, and it's not because we don't have guys that can hit them.
Well hit, line drive, throw to first. Peguero back in time.
Well, the 2 ballparks in the National League that are bandboxes are Cincinnati and Philadelphia.
Philly, yeah.
Ball hit hard. Chris Nelson did not even have to move.
You talk to managers, they'll all tell you they'd rather have the power arms. It gives you the opportunity to pitch your way out of mistakes, whether it's an error or a walk or things happen. And if you have guys that can strike people out because of those arms, they'd rather have that luxury of that.
Sure.
Here's Marte, 2 outs. Mariners down a run. He represents the lead run with Peguero, the tying run at first. One-0 pitch. Peguero, the runner at first. Pitch. Souvenir for somebody. 2-1. Rose-colored glasses. Two-one pitch. Way upstairs. Got the rally caps working. Brian Brito's on deck. Into the catcher's glove. Mariners down to the last strike. Tell Marte, the hitter. Mariners won yesterday's game. These two teams will get together again tomorrow here to close out the spring season. Pitch with the right field. And it's covered by Crusette. That's the ball game. Colorado outlasts the Mariners 9-8. Jeff, pleasure working with you. We'll see you during regular season when we come up your way. Yeah, look forward to it.
Safe travels home.
Yes.
This was a marathon. And a lot of interesting developments in this game, too, particularly early from some of the starting guys.
And I think for the Mariners, I thought it was interesting to watch the guys that we highlighted before the game when you talk about Seager and Saunders and Liddy and the job that they did today. All of them swinging the bats well again. Still trying to stay in that mix for playing time from Eric Wedge.
And I look at Nicasio getting close to 100 pitches today in preparation for his start. Michael Kadire playing for the first time after getting hit on the finger since Friday by Yu Darvish. And I think the final thought from this, from both teams' perspective, is there were no injuries.
Amen, brother. Amen. Right. For Jenny Kavnar and Brad Adam, Mike Blowers, and Jeff Houston, I'm Dave Sims. So long, everybody. From Salt River Fields at Talking Stick, the Rockies outlast the Mariners by the final of 9-8. Enjoy the rest of your day.